Hi everyone. Happy webinar day.
Yes, so excited to be here with y'all today.
Yes. Actually, I'm just going to wipe the camera real quick just because it looks a little bit blurry. Let me grab a little.
Get a little cloth.
Just a little cloth.
There you go.
Oh, sorry guys. Okay, does that look better? I don't know if my eyes were just blurry or
I
if it
think
was
it
the
looks great. Look
Okay.
at Blossom is hiding. I'm gonna she's playing peekaboo.
Well, Aria was playing with Blossom this morning.
She was.
She was.
Aria loves Blossom.
She really does. It's hilarious. How is everyone this morning?
I'm really happy to be here. I had a fast, fun last few days over in Birmingham. So,
Yes.
hi, if you were there with me in person.
Yes.
In Birmingham, we had a great fun time.
Mm-hmm.
The weather was beautiful until the day I flew back home.
Was
But
it cold?
it was.
Was it?
The first few days, but the day that I flew back Sunday, it warmed up. But
Good.
yeah, I had to bring a jacket. You know, we're getting into that wintry holiday season. So it's nice when the weather's a little bit cooler, don't you think?
I love the cold weather.
I know. You're missing the Colorado snow.
I miss Colorado. I have friends that live in our old neighborhood and they've sent pictures of the snow and I'm like, oh, I bet you that feels good.
I've got me a cozy little drink.
Mm-hmm.
Alyssa has one for herself as
I do.
well.
I have my coffee this morning.
Yes, look at my cozy, one of my precious friends, hello, that joined me in Nashua, sewing back a few weeks back, made this for me, and Alyssa was like, oh, Mother, I love it. I'm like, okay, you can
take that one.
borrow it today.
Take it.
Thank you. Oh, goodness gracious. Yep, we had so much fun this past weekend, and I've got a lot of fun things in store for y'all today.
What are we going to start with?
You've been a busy bee.
Oh my gosh, I've really been a busy bee. Whenever you got back, when did you get back?
Sunday.
Okay, well, I thought you got back Saturday.
No.
So I thought that I still had 2 Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 2 days until today. And then when I realized that it was Sunday and then yesterday was Monday, I was like, kind of freaking out because I had a whole bunch to do.
She's been enjoying creating some extra little fun things. Where's
What
my
do you wanna
little Christmas cakes? We're not gonna show. I had them right there.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, she moved my Christmas cake. How many of you love these little Christmas cakes at Christmas time?
Are they Christmas tree cakes? Is that what they're called?
Well, I don't know. You'll have to go look on the box.
I think that
but
is the
it is definitely a little Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these have been out and about for years now. I don't know how many years they've been out and about, but
they're a staple.
I always buy at
For
least
the
one
United
box
States,
at
I
Christmas
guess.
time. One box. Liz is not a big sweet eater, but
I'm really not. I
one
don't like
box
sweets. I like chips.
at Christmas time.
I'll eat chips.
Isn't that so pretty? Well, Alyssa has something very special for y'all that she's going to share later on that's going to give you that little Christmas tree vibe without the calories. So you're going to enjoy that. Lots of y'all are here with us looking at all of your hellos and highs. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Y'all, the pansy fabric. Miss Anja has some of that pansy fabric.
Yes, I love it.
Yes, so much fun. So we're going to have fun today. Got lots of things. I think that we need to kick off our day with our little snippets overview of this month's project.
Yes. Okay, so let's see. Choose.
We'll get Alyssa to pull that up for us.
My computer is second here. It's running slow like we are.
It always takes a little hot minute, but
Yes.
it comes up.
So,
Yeah, so this month's project, I think, is something that I know it's something that you can use at any season throughout the year. You're going to have a lot of fun with it. And definitely,
there we go.
Yeah, I kind of buried it within the
did.
folders.
Oh my goodness, I had to click 10 folders to get here.
To get to it.
I don't know why.
Oh.
Okay, we're doing the snippets.
All right, yes, let's
bring in the snippets. Let everyone kind of pop in if you aren't here yet, and just kind of before we do our first giveaway.
Yeah.
And remember that if we'll show what we're doing for the giveaway after the snippets. But if you are here, if you're signed up for the webinar, you're entered in the giveaway. So
you don't have to do
worry
anything
or
else.
do anything. All right, let's bring in our snippets.
Hey, I'm going to be talking y'all through it. Look at these little towels embellished with a beautiful ruffle that we will be creating on our serger. Now, I had to make this little bread cozy, little bread bag. Alyssa calls it a bread bag. It reminds me of a little bread cozy. When I was in Nashua, Miss Ruthie in Nashua kept saying, we are going to do this really large piece of fabric, finish it on the corners to cover up our bread rolls and keep them warm. So that was my inspiration for the little bread bag, little bread cozy. And it's something that we're going to use a lot throughout the year. And look at these fabulous ruffles. You got to be able to add a rolled hem and ruffle with your serger. We're going to kind of do a deep dive today in some different feet and kind of compare the gathering techniques, but look at all these little different ruffles. So whenever I started creating the project, I always like to mass produce. It's so much faster and easier to do quite a few at one time. That way, Christmas time, it is definitely going to help if we can get things done a little bit quicker in this busy season. Now look what I'm doing here. Yep, I already pre-gathered my ruffle. I'm going to share that little concept with you, that little approach, something that just came into my designer mind, and I really wanted to share that with y'all. Look how pretty on these ready-made kitchen towels. It looks so beautiful when you add a little bit of embellishing and ruffling. Gathering, I think, is something that we must know how to do and feel comfortable with on our sergers. And it's so fast, quick, and easy. We're going to finish this little kitchen towel up completely within our members library, within our videos for our project. But today, we're going to just kind of dive into some little things here and there as I walk you through these gathering processes. I have to embellish it with a little bit of embroidery that Alyssa has created for us. We did a bread theme. I thought that was very fitting. That would really go forward with us throughout the year. And here I am just placing my bread cozy, my little roll what bread bag? Alyssa called it a bread roll.
It's a bread
bag. Excuse me, a bread roll.
Bread bag.
Very easy to make as well, but you're going to use it a lot. How cute is this? So very easy. And you can use whatever fabrics that you decorate in your kitchen. Make quite a few of these sets for little gifts to put in your, what I call your happy closet. My sweet friend Rosa, y'all hear me talk about her every once in a while as well.
These are so cute.
I
Especially
love
as a
these.
gift, if you do like a set, oh my gosh.
And it really does keep the rolls warm while you're serving other things and getting them ready. And they'll fit in bigger bowls and smaller bowls, so you will be set. So much fun. Oh my, the Kitchen Essentials bread bag and towel. Doesn't that look cool? I mean, so very kitchen-airy.
It looks really good.
I like it.
Let's see. Okay.
So now that we're kind of in the mood.
Yes. And then Miss Rosemary, I see, how do you sign up for the giveaways? So for our webinar giveaways, if you're here, if you accessed our webinar via your special link that was emailed to you, you're signed up. So you sign up for the webinar, so it signs you up for the giveaway. So you're good to go. If you're here, if you signed up for the webinar,
you're registered.
You're registered for the giveaway.
And you have something special.
Do you want to show what today's giveaway
Why
is?
not?
Okay,
Alyssa had so much fun with this design set, keeping with our little Serge Fun Club specials. Oh my goodness.
Do you want to take it out of the
No, I think you can leave it in your embroidery hoop. Look how cute these are.
Our little, oh darn it, what did I name it? March of the Nutcracker. That's
March of the Nutcracker. I don't remember,
but little soldiers. How cute are these little nutcrackers? Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have 2 fill designs and then 3 sketch designs. So they are all different soldiers, and 3 of them are sketch, 2 of them are like a fill. But these are our giveaways for today.
This
is our giveaway set.
Our little nutcrackers.
Yes.
Are any of y'all going to any plays? Oh, it's on this side. I was going to try. There we go. This year for Christmas, you know, the Nutcracker is always a very popular musical or play to go
Love
see.
them.
One year, Alyssa, and we did when you were younger at the Hyman Center in Lafayette. When she was in dancing, so we did a lot of little things there. But in Houston, they always have the big Christmas Nutcracker. We've never gone.
Oh, okay, I was like, wait.
I think in the future, life was just kind of like, I don't know, we never got there. But I think we should do that and begin a little tradition and bring Aria as well.
I'd love to.
Yes, it's so fun.
Yeah, I thought those were fun. I'm trying to stay on the Christmas theme, and I wanted to give y'all something Christmassy to be able to use even before, you know, Christmas is not over. And for me, mid of January, you know, that's whenever the tree stays up until, so it's really not over until...
we have fun.
Until
we
like
have
mid-January.
fun for a while, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. So we got some other comments. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Adorable little nutcrackers. Absolutely. And Miss Janet said they were her favorites.
They're so cute. I love little nutcrackers.
Listen, Miss Barbara said you are hitting it out of the park with your digitized.
Wait
till this extra special thing she has for y'all.
You remember whenever we went to that store and they had sequins nutcrackers. I think that's cute with a sketch design. You can maybe you don't have to.
You have to
hand stitch, I guess, with
add some sequins to them
on a little hat or something.
Oh my goodness,
cute.
Probably so. I saw one thing. Let's see. So Miss Dara said she loves the bread basket set. I can't wait to make it. She's got some bread fabric. I love novelty fabrics.
So Mom was doing the kitchen towel, and I'm like, okay, what can we do to go with the kitchen towel? And I have been obsessed with like bread videos lately. So I plan on like making bread. Like I bought
the starter.
Yeah, so I bought a starter, and I'm just...
It hasn't started just yet.
It hasn't started yet because I know that it's like a baby where you have to really take care of it, and I know that I don't have the capacity to do that right now.
Just yet.
So I haven't started it yet, but I will, and I'm like, I
think it's a thing. Basket. My daughter-in-law, Lindsay... She's got a starter, Alyssa. She's been feeding it.
Oh, does she?
Yes, she is. She is doing it. I remember way back when they were little, there was something called
it's big.
Friendship bread. Big. I don't know if y'all ever remember that, but there was
you give like the starter.
Yeah, you would give your starter, but it made more of a sweet bread, not like a savory bread.
So the one that I have, it's sourdough.
Yeah. So the one that I'm thinking about was no, it's more just like a standard. Nice crunchy bread. A nice bread.
I like sourdough. I don't find it to be salty, but I don't find it to be sweet.
No. The one I'm talking about was called a friendship bread starter. I don't know. They were little whenever I did that. It's been a really long time. So that definitely was like, you would make for like fruit loaves or just kind of sweet loaves and stuff. But the starters for y'all, for the sourdough is a little bit different.
Sourdough bread, yeah.
All right, y'all are going to have fun with the winning set this today.
Yes.
I think the Nutcrackers just put a little smile on my face.
They're so cute.
And okay, so
yes,
this month's project, you know what, maybe you've gathered before, but I really am going to bring a little bit of a different approach with us adding the gathers to our towel. So it's not like we're just going to get in there and gather. I want to give you a little bit of a swing, a Lori angle to putting these, kind of just have a fun little way of thinking it a little differently. I think you might like it. I was exploring how can we even like zhuzh up and make it even a little easier with our gathering. So we're going to explore some feet. Let's see. The first thing that I have ready for them is our just kind of a little bit of an overview for a few steps for gathering. So let's go ahead and just dive in, get started. We're going to have a busy day today. Hope you enjoy it. And Alyssa's going to bring up, I'll go grab it for us.
Is it up there the first?
It is. Thank you, Alyssa. All right, so let's get started. In this tutorial, I will walk you through a few steps that will help us educationally see some differences using the fabrics that I've cut and using different feet. Before we start our project, I thought it would be really beneficial if I walked you through these steps. That way you can see the differences and the outcome of the different presser feet that we could use for this process. This tutorial I think is going to be very great to walk through and have on hand for you to understand and think about how you may want to gather, what presser foot you may want to use in any of your future projects as well. Now, if you'll notice, I have some fabrics that I've cut out. Let me share with you the measurements that I've cut these pieces, just in case you may want to walk through these types of steps and tests yourself. Now, the first thing that I've done here is I have 2 pieces of fabrics that I've cut. Now, these are cut 3.5 inches high, and that's the same for these strips as well. This one is cut 15.5 inches. And then I've cut this one half the length of this one. Let me just show you. If I fold that in half, then you'll see that this one will measure half the long strip. And I've done that so that we can test our ruffling foot, since it's actually designed for a 2-to-1 gather. And even though that's what it's designed for, I don't ever approach it in that way. I always want to have more than enough whenever I am gathering and using my different presser feet within my projects. But again, just to give you that foundational effect and allowing it to coordinate and guide along with the instructions that that presser foot has whenever you pick up that presser foot. And here's the ruffling foot. You have the little bar at the bottom. We're able to sew flat fabric and gathered fabric together at the same time that it's ruffling one of those strips. Here I have 3 strips. 1, 2, 3. We're going to use these strips to experiment and test gathering with our standard presser foot, our ruffling foot, and our shearing foot. Once again, here is our ruffling foot, our standard presser foot, and our shearing presser foot. These are some great presser feet to use for gathering. And as we walk through these little tests together, I think it's definitely going to be very beneficial for you as you go throughout your serging journey. These, like I mentioned, measure 3.5 inches high and 26.5 inches wide. Just in case, again, you may want to test and go through these little exercises along with me. First, we'll be using our standard presser foot. The standard presser foot for our Baby Lock Triumph, and you'll find this true on some of the other Baby Lock machines as well, has the initials BL on it. That's that foot that comes with your serger. Again, it's your standard presser foot. We'll be using one of our long strips. I've just folded it in half. Let's go over to our serger and I'll show you the setup that we'll be using to gather all of our strips. We'll be serging with a 4-thread overlock. We'll gather using standard serger thread, and I've placed 2 different colors on my serger. On my needles, I've placed one color, and on my loopers, I've placed a different color. That'll help us see those different stitches once we begin looking at the stitch after we've serged it. I've placed my deep purple on my overlock needle 1 position and my overlock needle 2 position. I've placed a turquoise thread over on my upper looper and my lower looper. The stitch selector is set to A. And the differential feed, we need to move this all the way up to 2. We'll take that lever, bring it all the way up to the top. That will allow us to take advantage of the gathering option using our differential feed. Our length is set in the standard position at 4, the longest stitch length that we have. Our width is set to 7.5. Our blade will definitely be cutting. Overlock needle 1 and 2 is installed in my serger, and I have the standard presser foot installed onto my machine as well. Now, before we begin our gathering process, I want to mention a couple of things. We're definitely a variable within the equation. Our serger is set up for gathering, and whenever we place our fabric underneath our presser foot and we begin serging, we want to make sure that we don't put any extra pressure or resistance on the fabric, pulling it back towards us. We want to be the gentle guider. We want the machine to be able to easily take the fabric. If we create any extra resistance on the fabric, that could reduce our gathers. Here I have my fabric that we mentioned earlier. I'm going to place it right side facing up. I'll line it along the right edge of the plate. Again, we're just testing. This is not a hard and fast rule, but I want to make sure that I am trimming a little bit off, and we'll allow the machine to take the fabric, serge through, and let's see what these gathers look like. Once we've gathered this strip, we'll look at the gathers, and then I'll also show you how we can gather it even more. A 4-thread overlock is an adjustable gather, and that's very good to know. Notice I'm just going to have my hand resting underneath the fabric here in front of the serger. And then I'll use my left hand as well just to guide. I'm not holding on with a firm grip. I'm just allowing the serger to take the fabric, and I am the gentle guider. I'll serge out a long tail before I trim it. I want to be able to have a long tail. That way I can show you how we can gather these gathers even more if we would like to. I think that is a very pretty gather. What do you think? Gathering on our sergers with our standard presser foot using our stitch length at a longer length and our differential feed at that maximum gathering setting definitely creates a beautiful gather. Now, like I said, we could gather this even more. And in order to do that, we need to find the needle threads that extend out the end of our serger tail. That's why I asked for you to have a long serger tail, and that way you can grab a hold of them and easily gather more gathers into the strip. Now, whenever I am gathering in this way for a ruffle that I'll place on a project, I always like to gather from both ends and work them into the center of my ruffle. It makes it so much easier, and in that way, we're not trying to work extra gathers all the way down a long strip, but we're starting those outer edges and we're meeting in the middle. Let me grab my scissors. I like to cut a clean clip on the end, and that helps me find those needle threads easier. So if we look at my serger tail, when it's coming out of the serger, or whether this would have been the beginning, it can be a little bit scrunched together, and that's why I find just cutting a clean clip on the end allows me to, and I say tickle, just tickle the threads, and that'll allow those threads to move around a little bit. And if you'll notice the two purple threads, those are our needle threads, and they actually stand very straight together. So we just take those two threads, only those, you don't want to gather any of your looper threads, and then you just start working the looper threads in and down on the needle threads. And you'll notice that my fabric is going to begin to gather just like you would gather any standard gathering process. And I just gently work those gathers in. I don't try to pull them in very quickly or forcefully. That's not a good approach. We just gently want to bring those gathers in until you're happy with the look. Now, if I need to, I can bring those looper threads down and move my hands further down the needle thread that's extended out of the tail. and that gives me a better grip. And once I'm satisfied with these additional gathers, then I'll start on the opposite end. Let's do the same process. We'll just cut the tail. Just tickle the end of the thread a little bit. And then when you see those prominent needle threads extending out of the top, those are the ones you'll grab a hold of and just get it started. If you find throughout this little process that somehow you've just kind of gnarled all of the threads, then give it another clean clip, and then it'll give you a fresh look. I'm going to hold on to those needle threads once again and start working the fabric down. If you've gathered a lot on your sewing machine, you're probably very comfortable with grabbing the bobbin threads for your gathering process. What I really enjoy about gathering with my serger, number one, definitely the fact that I can finish running it through the serger and I do have a beautiful gather. And if I don't want to gather any additionally, I don't have to. But it's very easy to work these additional gathers into the fabric. And as you can see, as I'm holding the needle tails and then working those gathers in, my needle threads are very sturdy and they don't break. So typically when you're gathering on a sewing machine, you're working those gathers into a long flat piece of fabric. A lot of times what happens is when you almost finish, one of those bobbin threads will break. You think you can somehow make it work, but then you realize, nope, I've got to start all over. So this gives us a very beautiful gather just using our standard presser foot. And if we need to, again, we can work additional gathers. Now I want to compare this standard gathered piece of fabric that we've gathered with our standard presser foot along with our shearing foot and our ruffling foot. So what I'll do is finish working all of these gathers out, and then I'll bring it back over to the serger and just gather it once more so that it is a strip of fabric that has the standard amount of gathers that the machine has accomplished just through serging it through one time. I'll continue to just work this out, and this is a great way to see how you actually rip it out as well. I'll straighten up my little tail here. It's the needle threads that hold it all together. So whenever you are ripping out a 4-thread overlock or a 3-thread overlock, if you can remove those needle threads, then you've freed up the looper threads, and those looper threads will just come off. So it's the needle threads that are combined with the looper threads that hold it all together. Now another thing that I'll mention is whenever I am gathering fabric, you know I love to press and starch at times, but whenever I am gathering a strip of fabric, I never place starch in it. I might press it, but I don't ever want to give it any extra stiffness. That will work against our gathering process. If you noticed earlier in our previous tutorial, I read a little bit of the instructions from the ruffling foot, and it said that it will gather fine fabrics even better. And you know, that's definitely a rule of thumb. Even if you're gathering on another machine, softer, finer fabrics are always going to gather easier since they're lightweight. Any of those stiffer fabrics, you're not going to have those gather as easily and as well as a lightweight fabric. Just something to keep in mind. I'll press this and then I'll run it through my serger one more time. Then we'll go on to the next presser foot.
Hi everyone. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a giveaway. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the picture on here. Oh, well, let's see if I can. Here we go.
Slide it in.
Let me just slide it in.
Ooh.
Okay, so for anyone joining us right now, this is going to be our giveaway. It's our March of... Oh, can everyone hear me? I am not a loud spoken person, I guess. Here is our March of the Nutcracker. We get 5 nutcrackers, and then 3 of them are sketch designs, 2 of them are fill. And they're just so cute. They make me so happy to look at.
And they are gathering together.
Our little soldiers. Yeah, I thought this would be so cute. So let's go ahead and do our first giveaway. Let me bring this up.
All right. Well, this is bringing up and spinning the wheel for our giveaway.
Yes.
You know, gathering with that 4-thread overlock is so easy. Miss Dara, you said, oh my goodness, your square dance dress is the hard way, but now it's so much easier. It really is. Once you get comfortable gathering with your serger, you will be very much hooked on gathering with your serger. Now that we've gotten started, we're going to do a giveaway. In a little bit, we'll take even a deeper dive into our gathering journey.
And remember, if you are signed up for today's webinar, and if you're here, if you came in with the link that was emailed to you, you are signed up for the giveaway, so you don't have to do anything else. Okay, let's go ahead and see who our first winner of the first round will be. And there's no noise. I don't know.
That's okay.
Clank.
The first time we
congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, is it just? I feel like Miss Joyce has won a couple of times.
We do have a few Miss Joyces though.
We do, but I remember her last name.
Okay.
Miss Joyce, you need to go sign up for the lottery. Let's see who I don't know why it's not.
It has a little bit of a delay whenever we bring the wheel up. You give it a little second, and there it is.
Yes.
So congratulations, Miss Joyce. Let's see who our next winner is, Miss Jane. Congratulations, Miss Jane. So we're going to have 3 times today that we're going to pull for our giveaways today that Alyssa prepared for us. These little guys, these little nutcrackers just make me smile.
They're so cute.
They are definitely a favorite. Miss Tamara.
Is it Tamara or is it Tamara?
Oh, you know what? Listen, you're probably right. It sounds pretty both ways, don't you think?
Let's see. What number are we on, Mom? 4. Okay, let's see who our 4th winner will be today.
Who's number 4?
First round of our nutcrackers.
They're standing on their heads.
Miss
Yolanda. Okay, I have to laugh. Hold on just a second. Listen, let me get this down.
Okay.
So Miss Joyce Ingram, you got a little surprise, right? My first giveaway was Joyce, and now we have an Ingram. We have Miss Joyce's first and last name, but it wasn't together. And Miss Joyce's birthday is today, and Miss Loretta's birthday is today.
Miss Joyce's birthday was yesterday. I thought Miss Loretta's birthday
excuse
is
me.
Happy birthday.
We're celebrating it with you today. A little belated celebration. Miss Lillian. Congratulations, Miss Lillian. That's such a beautiful name. All right. 2 more winners for this little winning time.
Let's see.
Who's it gonna be? Are they gonna be standing straight up? Are they gonna be standing on their heads again or on the side? Oh, they're gonna stand at an angle this time. Miss Janet. Congratulations, Miss Janet. Awesome.
Okay, and let's see who our last winner of this round will be for our March of the Nutcracker.
March of the Nutcracker.
So cute. These really are probably one of my favorite designs that I've done, honestly.
Miss Diane. Congratulations, Miss Diane Johnson.
Yay.
Woohoo! Okay, we go. Those are our first 7 sets of winners today.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, how much fun is that?
Yes, they're so cute.
So, Alyssa, I'm going to show you a little something before we go to our next little tutorial.
Okay.
Got a few little things I want to show you here and there. I'm going to move our little nutcrackers over for a moment.
What are you grabbing?
I'm grabbing some of my towels.
Oh.
I'll just put it in my lap so I can show y'all throughout the day today. Well, as long as our webinar lasts. So here's a little set in a Christmas theme. How pretty is this? Now I have my little bread cozies, little bread bags cut out, but I didn't get them finished before the webinar. But look how fun this is. So maybe you have a neighbor or someone that you just want to give them a little something, maybe someone that works with you. These are great, quick little gift items.
Yeah, they're very cute.
And adding them to a Christmas towel, I think, is definitely a win-win because it's just really fast and easy.
And if you get the little nutcrackers, you can do.
You could put the nutcrackers on there.
Really
Oh my
cute.
goodness. You know, sometimes Christmas decorations, there's a big store in Lafayette. We're not promoting or anything, but
What store?
Caroline and Company. What are your favorite stores to
yeah.
go shop at, Alyssa?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. They do different setups for Christmas. They're not always, you know, red and white or red, white, and green, but they use like the
They do
colors
pink.
that you did for the nutcrackers.
Yeah.
So they do
Bright-
trees with all
bright
those whimsical colors.
Mhm.
And I think the nutcrackers look so cute in those whimsical colors.
They
So
really
just
do.
another little idea. Maybe you just want to make some really quick
Uh-huh.
gifts for neighbors, for family, or friends.
Mhm.
You can do that. Now, I have some more in my lap, but I'm going to wait till
Oh.
I'm going to hold the next ones till talk about in a little bit as
Are we
well.
gonna do the our old Christmas tree?
Oh yeah, we are. Do you want to do that now, or are we going to?
Yeah.
Our next
let's
little-
show the old Christmas.
Our
tree.
little next tutorial
Oh, we
is
can
very
do the
short.
next tutorial.
Okay, we're going to do one more little tutorial. It's a short one. And then we'll do our Christmas
Christmas
tree.
tree.
Oh, Christmas tree. All right, let's look at some of our comments. Lisa, help me with the comments. Goodness gracious.
Let's see. Everyone saying congratulations. My favorites. I love red for Christmas. So I can play Tough Time Sunny in. Love your towels. Miss Candy, no problem. If you are registered for today's webinar, you're already registered for the giveaway regardless if you were able to get in on time or not. So you were still, your name is still on that big old list
Big old wheel.
big old list of people on that big old wheel. So
That's right. That's right. So our next tutorial, what we're doing is we are starting a little dive into some step-by-step approaches to gathering. So now I'm going to bring you into my second little segment that I think you will enjoy as well. So let's discover and just explore using the shearing foot for gathering.
Ooh.
We're making some. I've regathered my strip of fabric that's been gathered with the standard presser foot, one pass through the serger. Let me set that aside. I'll take one of my long strips, my second long strip, and like I mentioned, we'll be gathering this one with our shearing foot. Our shearing foot is a little bit different. If we look on the back of it, they've actually created a little divot, a little tunnel in the bottom of this area of the presser foot, and that really does encourage the gathers to gather and look even more pristine. So I really enjoy using this presser foot for standard gathering. If I need to gather, I choose this one over my standard presser foot. Let's see how this one performs gathering our strip of fabric in the same way that we did previously using our standard presser foot. And if you'll notice on this presser foot, it has the initials BLG. The only thing we'll be changing is our presser foot. There's no need for us to change any other settings that we previously talked about. Those will all stay the same. Let's raise our presser foot. We'll release our standard presser foot and install our shearing foot. Now we'll repeat the process, guiding our strip of fabric along the edge of the plate, just like we did previously. And again, we're the gentle guider. Now it stands true. If I wanted to gather this even more, I could. So you could leave yourself long tails if you think you might want to do that. But I absolutely love the gathering effect that I get from the shearing foot. Now we'll compare it to our previous strip of fabric that we've gathered with our standard presser foot. This strip of fabric is the one that we gather with our standard presser foot. And here's the strip that we just gathered with our shearing foot. Now I'll point out a couple of things that I think really do make a big difference. And I'll zoom you in as well after I give you a little overview of these things. If you notice the edge of the serged area with the standard presser foot, it's not as controlled as it is over here that we've serged with the shearing foot. And if you notice the pleats, the gathers, I say pleat, since whenever I look at the strip that I've gathered with the shearing foot, it really appears to me that that presser foot works in consistent pleats as it surges down the strip of fabric. This one is also a little bit longer, so we have gathered the strip even more with that shearing foot. So you'll notice there's a little bit of a difference in the length of the fabric, the gathering process. But I think that major difference is how it forms the gathers. They look very consistent, very controlled, very uniformed. I really do like the look of those gathers that we can create with the shearing foot. If we look at that gathered area edge here that we've gathered with the standard presser foot and compare it to the edge where we've gathered with the shearing foot, you can definitely see a difference. Again, it looks much more uniformed, very professional. I really like the fact that we have that option for using the shearing foot for gathers as well. I've placed them so that they're arranged in the same orientation. The bottom one, again, is the strip that we've gathered with the standard presser foot, and the top one is the strip that we've gathered with our shearing foot. It's nice to have options.
Okay.
All right, so you can really see the difference. So Miss Dorothy, that is not the same as the gathering foot. We are going to explore the gathering foot next. That is the shearing foot. And these are tutorials that I do have in this month's project video tutorial area. So you'll be able to go back and watch these step by step through the process of you creating your project as well. Mm-hmm. And if you have those feet, you can do these little comparisons along with me also. That might be really helpful. Gathering is something that we all want to be able to do, even if we're just a sewinista, right? Maybe we haven't even started serging yet. Everybody wants to gather, no matter how that process is. But as you can see, gathering with your serger is definitely very easy and very proficient and efficient. And using the different feet, I think, is also an added plus. So the shearing foot, definitely a favorite of mine.
So I remember that bag that I had tried to make with the ruffle that was like around.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I made that. I'd have to find it. I made that bag when you were, where were you? You weren't here. You were at an event. I don't know where. And I'm not going to start the serger up without Mom here. Because number one, I don't want to mess the machine up. I don't know. You know, I'm not an expert. So when she's here, then I can pick her brain. Mom, can you show me how to do this? Mom, help me. Is the machine set up correctly? It's like a crutch. You know, she's there. I got to make sure that it's correct. Because the serger is not frightening, but it can be intimidating for sure, especially because I am new to sewing and, you know, all the different machines. But anyway, so I made a bag
to do my basics class, right?
Yes, that has a long ruffle around the entire edge except the top. And when I showed it to her, she's like, "Oh, you didn't do that with the serger, did you? Because you can tell in some spots." I'm like, "No, I didn't."
Alyssa stays so busy these days, definitely, you know, well, Aria for sure.
Yes.
And digitizing and social media and emails and all kinds of things. So one day she's going to have time to really just dive deeper into
watching you do and remember whenever we made the flowers?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so whenever
Yes.
I made, I mean, how many of those did I do?
We made...
I sat here and I
think
did.
we made about 50.
Yeah.
So she did.
So I did those and I'm like, dang, this was easy.
That's right.
Like I
you
could have,
did.
like within a second, I 1, 2, 3. I'm like, I could have did that ruffle within.
So when the Baby
17.
Lock Applaud came out, before I went to Baby Lock Tech,
Mm-hmm.
I sat down and made a whole lot of these little flowers, and we made pins with them.
Mm-hmm.
So we embellished them with the Applaud, but we gathered them with the serger, and we used the shearing foot. So she did a lot of gathering with that. I forgot about that. So yeah,
when I did that, I was like, okay, that
I
would
should have done this, right?
Yeah, this would have been much easier because I gathered with the sewing machine, and it didn't come out horribly, right? But it just like comparing the two,
professional, it's fast,
night and day.
It's
easy, it's like I was
and
like, oh.
You know, years ago when I had my custom clothing store where I really loved doing children's clothing. You know, I did bridal and a lot of alterations.
Yeah.
But at that point in my life, it was all about, oh my goodness, I need more time. But it still needs to look professional. You know, I'm doing things for other people. They're paying me to do it.
Yeah.
So
it definitely looks much better. That's
it's
for
fast
sure.
and easy. Who doesn't want to get
fast.
those gathers done fast and easy instead of sitting
surprised.
there having to do even extra gathers?
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's see. Let's look at hi Miss Rita, how are you? Love, Serge, oh my goodness, Miss Rita and I got to Serge in person together at Come to the Cove.
Yes.
Love you so much, miss you, hope you are doing well. Heirloom puffing and gathering, and that shearing foot is a great way to do that as well. Let's see. I might have to put my glasses on.
Shearing foot would be for my Euphoria, as my serger is the 4-thread Acclaim, and I don't see that foot as an option for the Acclaim. Just wouldn't be cutting on the Euphoria.
Yeah, so the shearing foot is actually a wider foot. That's gonna fit your 8-thread sergers. Boy, look at my glasses. I'm getting so no, it's not gonna fit your Acclaim. You can use your ruffling foot, which we'll use next. So those wider feet are the ones that are going to fit our 8-thread sergers. So if you have an Ovation, or if you have the Triumph, you have the Euphoria, you have the Applaud, excuse me, but your Acclaim, or the Accolade as well, it'll fit the Accolade. It's just a smaller version of the 8-thread serger. Can't wait. Miss Dara said she can't wait to unpack her Applaud. It came in last week, but I have embroidery to get done and get mailed out. I understand that. I love that concept. Oh, Miss Rita, hopefully you are not snowed in up there in your beautiful area of the United States.
Yes.
All right.
Let's see, where do I sign up for a membership to Serge Fun Club from Miss Nancy? Miss Nancy, what I can do is we can put the link here.
Put the link here.
And then you also will get an email after everything, just sending you a link for Serge Fun Club.
Yeah, absolutely. So Alyssa has been doing even some extra fun things. And if you missed our Facebook Live, our Stitch and Sip last week, which was pretty fun. Yes. And if you don't have Facebook, no fretting, no worries. Alyssa has placed that in your Serge Fun Club members library as well. We're going to show you what we did. It's actually hiding behind me. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it turned out really cute. I'm going to grab it, Alyssa.
Okay.
Did you have the thumbnail for the little...
Oh, I did.
Oh, Christmas tree. Oh, Christmas tree. I don't know the rest of the song.
I don't either.
Dun, dun, dun,
Okay, so
dun,
this is
dun.
our applique little Christmas tree design. There are 3 different sizes that we did, and that is in your 2024 Serge Fun Club members library under the freebie embroidery designs. One design is it's like a large. I have to look back at the sizes. The second one is like a medium size, and the third one is the same size as the medium, but it has a little twist to it because this is the one with the no-show batting.
So I say go over to the Stitch and Sip recording and watch it and see what Alyssa and I did. It was so much fun to do this.
And would you say this is piecing?
Yeah, so the it's applique. We did serger piecing like we did a few months back for our little clip holder, our little clip peg holder. I use that piecing technique to make my applique fabric, and I think it turned out so precious.
Yeah,
I even happened to have some scraps of fabric that had, see the little circle there? It has the color of the sweatshirt in it. Look how sweet that is.
Really cute.
This was really fun. If you want us to entertain you even more, maybe while you're wrapping presents or something like that, you can bring up the Stitch and Sip. And then again, Alyssa made the design itself available in your
it's
freebie.
Your 2024 Serge Fun Club members library. Under the folder is freebie embroidered designs.
We haven't put a little button on top, but we're going to add a little button.
Yes.
I have a gold button. I found it up there in my little button box.
Oh,
I keep pointing up there, but
I'm looking for the button.
She's looking for the button. Yep. Make a little something on the Christmas tree.
Oh, let's show Miss Mickey's picture.
Yes, Miss Mickey. Miss Mickey always has so much fun playing around along with us. She did, yay, her sweatshirt as well.
How cute.
Look at her snowflake fabric. I love the way the big snowflake right there in the middle.
Yes.
I said snowflake. No, it's a snowflake. That is kind of a snowflake, right? Because it's not real snow.
I was trying to zoom in. That's why I kind of corrected the picture. But hers came out so cute. I just think these are so... So I know if you watch the Stitch and Sip, or if you were there, you know what was in my mind. I've actually been looking for a quilt, because that was what was in my head. I wanted to repurpose a quilt, put it on there.
They have to go watch the Facebook Live.
You'll have to watch the Facebook Live. It's in your Stitch and Sip, and it has the date of last week, which was the 10th, I believe was Tuesday. But yeah, that was my goal. It was to repurpose a quilt. I cannot find one. I've gone to a bunch of different Goodwills. I've gone to a couple different, what are they called, Mom?
Estate sales.
Well, yeah, I've gone to estate sales, but the other...
So
antique store.
Antique stores, yes.
I've gone to a couple
antiquing as well.
Antique stores, like none.
There are no quilts.
You know what? And
quilts
you know what?
are very special.
I found 2 quilts that I really wanted to get at an estate sale, but it was in Baton Rouge, and she was leaving. You left for Alabama, and I was thinking about going, and I was like, man, I'm gonna have to pack up Aria by myself, drive there. It's like an hour, which isn't bad, but on the basin with the baby by myself, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna call to see if I can get them. They were gone within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I was out. So let's look at a few comments.
Okay.
Okay, let's see real quick. There was a few little things. Miss Brenda, you said that the link goes to 2024 membership. Miss Nancy was asking about that, so that's why we placed that in there. If you're needing something else, let us know. Let's see.
What you just saw, remember that we got is got Yep, perfect. Sorry.
Oh, oops, Miss Ginger. Yes, she said she forgot about her discount.
I thought it said that she used the discount. I skimmed it.
Okay, I just saw and remembered that we've got a discount. Yeah, use that 2024 discount from Wonderful. Definitely, the tree is so cute.
Yes.
How fun. There will definitely be a 2025.
Yes.
As y'all know, Serge Fun Club goes from April to March.
Yes, so the year's a little bit different. We had a couple of emails this morning asking about 2025, which, I mean, I understand because, you know, January is 2025 year. But because Serge Fun Club ends in April, right?
It ends in March. The very end of March. And it starts April 1st.
So we're going to do our pre-sale, is that what we called it?
Our pre-offer begins.
Pre-offer, I couldn't think of the word offer. Our pre-offer in February, and we'll start releasing everything that we have, all of our extras and our goodies that we're going to include for the 2025 Serge Fun Club membership in February. So
yeah, it's going to be fun.
On the lookout.
Be on the lookout. Lissa's been working hard on some extra stuff as well. Okay, so last week, Miss Cindy, yes, I used a tearaway on the back of the little sweatshirt. If you think about it, the thought process too is if you wear it, you tear it. But that applique, it's an applique, so it's really not stitch intensive either.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of outline stitching and the stippling in the center. So I didn't need the no-show mesh. I just decided to use on the back of because you asked about the no-show mesh. So then I decided to use the tearaway. It's a little bit more, just a little bit of a different feel than the no-show mesh.
Mm-hmm.
And since I pieced my fabric that I used for the applique, and I actually fused some Heat and Bond Light onto the back of it, it was already giving it a good bit of stability. So I just wanted a light tearaway, and that way it would be fine. So sometimes I use a no-show mesh, but a lot of times if I don't need a lot of stability with something like that, just a light tearaway is great as well. Oh, Miss Ginger thinks your Christmas tree is so cute. The snowflake tree.
Yes, Miss Mickey's tree.
All right. Yeah, Miss Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, it was so much fun.
Yes.
I'm still reading. So, Miss Rita, we don't have the lineup that we share for 2025. We always surprise you each month.
She means location.
Oh,
like you're.
I'm not reading good.
In store events.
Oh yes. I'll have to do that. I've been trying to just...
Which we need... What I need to do is I need to make a calendar, and I can post it in our Facebook as well as in our community of in-store events in the areas that you do have scheduled. That way, if any of our members want to... Because you do the event, it's in person.
In person.
If anyone wants to stop by the store or if you're in the area, that way
Absolutely.
you can know beforehand.
And so I'm still kind of firming up those future dates as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever I book events with retailers, sometimes it takes us a little while to get all of those things really in order and solidified. So, but good idea, Miss Rita. Alyssa's going to help me with that as well. Let's see. So when you sign up, our 2024 will end the last day of March. Mm-hmm. You still have all your content from 2024, but we will begin
in your library. It's not going to go anywhere.
That's right.
So we start. It doesn't necessarily transfer. It just doesn't leave you.
Yeah.
Same login for the next year. It's all the same thing. It's just.
But to have access to 2025, what's coming every month in 2025, you'll just want to, you'll want to sign up. Yes, ma'am, Miss Carmen. It starts in March. Actually, April 1st. Excuse me.
Yes.
The end of March. All right. Lots and lots. Let's see.
Yes.
Miss Ginger said she spent $100 on Dazzle's thread. Oh my goodness, that is so pretty. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Okay, all right. I think we got most of the questions done. Yeah.
Extension sensitive. Yep.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Would sticky stabilizer work? I really don't find that I needed the sticky stabilizer, so that just the tearaway. I don't
like to use
medium weight
stabilizer if I don't need it, because I, user error, am gonna mess it up, stick it to another area that doesn't need to be stuck to, if I don't really need to use it.
So in the past, like if you have the fast frames on the multi-needles, that's when a lot of people are going to use that sticky stabilizer.
So when I did use the fast frames for the multi-needle, I would use it because the frames itself, depending on what I would use, like when I was stitching the garment, it comes out. So that I would definitely use a sticky stabilizer for, but with the flatbed,
and we did the embroidery in our Facebook live on the flatbed machine.
Yes.
So on the Baby Lock Solaris. Miss Nancy will run over to, during our next little tutorial, I'll go grab the number for the shearing foot for you and I'll post it in the comments, okay? Wow, okay, that was fun. All right, so we did the shearing foot. We had some fun about the Christmas tree. Let's go ahead and let me share with you gathering with the ruffling foot.
Bring it up.
Okay, bring that up for me.
Wait, are we doing... Yes, there it is.
Next, we're going to gather with our ruffling foot. Here's the ruffling foot. It has a G right there on the presser foot, which stands for gathering. And then, again, let's look on the side. It has a little metal piece here that is going to separate the layer of fabric that we'll place in this area and then below it. Now this foot is designed so that we can gather and sew that gathered piece of fabric to a flat piece of fabric at the same time. Now you'll notice this little metal strip. If it's really close to the bottom of your presser foot, you might want to gently just kind of tweak it a little bit out. Don't muscle it, don't break it, just gently open it up a little bit. That's something that I was taught early on when I started using the ruffling foot. We're going to bring this over to our sergers. We're going to serge and gather with this presser foot our third long strip of fabric and see how it performs next to the strip of fabric that we've gathered with our standard presser foot and our shearing foot. Once again, there's no need for us to change any settings. We only need to change our presser foot. We'll remove our shearing foot and then we'll place our ruffling foot on. Now you'll notice how that foot just kind of springs up since it has that lever, that piece on the bottom. You might need to push it down as you're installing it into your serger. Now when we gather only one strip of fabric using this presser foot, we're going to allow that fabric to rest underneath the presser foot. Now if you'll notice on the end of this presser foot, there's a little bit of an area here that's wide, and then it makes a little L underneath the presser foot. This allows us to guide the right edge of the fabric along this area when we're using this presser foot. And that's what we'll be doing when we're serging down the long length of this strip. I like to raise my presser foot when I'm using this foot and bring the strip of fabric up underneath, up to the needles. Once I have it up to the needles, then I'll lower my presser foot and then begin serging. Again, we're just the gentle guider. Let's compare against our other two strips of fabric. Here we have our original first strip that we gathered with our standard presser foot, our shearing foot, and now we have our ruffling foot strip of fabric. It makes a really pretty gather as well. So if I compare it, it is definitely shorter. It's gathered the fabric more than that standard presser foot does. So you can see the difference there. Let's place that one back. And here's our shearing foot strip of fabric. And I think these two are pretty close in width once they've been gathered. But as you look at this one, and you compare it to the shearing foot definitely still gives a much more pleated effect. But that ruffling foot is a great addition to the gathering process as well. So it's really great to have these additional options. But the ruffling foot, that's the one that's going to allow us to gather fabric and sew flat fabric on at the same time. So not only can we gather with that presser foot, but again, we can complete another application when we're sewing flat fabric and gathering a strip at the same time. And we're going to do that together as well. I really do like the way the shearing foot consistently creates those gathers. Again, it's very nice to have choices. All right, that ruffling foot is a great option as well. Now the ruffling foot, like I mentioned, that's going to be used for your 4-thread overlock models, and it's a great choice also. That foot has some another capability that you can actually use it for. Let me bring you over to that tutorial, and we'll play the next tutorial showing you how we can actually gather fabric and serge it onto flat fabric at the same time.
Wait, let's do a giveaway before I have to go put Aria down.
You want to do that now? Because this one's short. Okay, Alyssa.
Let's do our,
let's do a giveaway.
Okay.
All right.
This is going to be our second giveaway. We had some people asked last time. Was that the first? This is our, right? Yes, this is our second giveaway for our March of the Nutcracker. And remember, if you signed up for today's webinar, if you accessed the webinar via your link, if you got an email confirmation saying that you signed up for the webinar, you're already signed up for our giveaway.
And while we're doing this, I'll read through the comments and answer some of y'all's comments as well.
Let's see.
Who's it gonna be?
Miss
Tana.
Congratulations. Let's see. You got it?
Yes, I got it.
Okay.
Nutcracker time. What did you say, March?
March of the Nutcracker.
March of the Nutcracker.
Let's see who our second. I don't think that you'll be able to read the comments while we're doing this.
I can't. It was a thought. We'll do that in a minute.
Thought.
Lisa definitely wants to get, Miss Kathy, another wonderful giveaway before she runs put Aria to sleep.
And then I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Let's see who our third giveaway winner.
I just love these little nutcrackers.
Yeah, these are so cute.
They're so cute. They make me happy when I look at them. Joyce Fleming.
Miss Joyce. Okay, so we do have a couple of Miss Joyces.
We do. Here. We have at least
we
3.
know of at least 3. That's for sure.
I have a wonderful, sweet friend named Joyce as well. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful name.
Let's see. Who are 4th? Miss Robin. Congratulations, Miss Robin. Okay, and then our 5th. I wish that we had the little because I loved when it did that. I'm going to have to figure out why it's
maybe there's something on your computer that's stopping the sound from the website. Miss Barbara Carrington, congratulations.
Oh, the Carringtons.
Yes.
Remember that show?
I do.
What was it called again?
It was called Dynasty.
Yes. They actually remade the show and recently, a couple years ago.
That show was really popular when I was in high school, probably about the 10th grade, and my parents didn't let us date till we were 16. So I had a lot of, was it Friday nights that came on, where I was sitting watching the Dynasty and knitting, A
16-year-old sitting on the couch just having fun knitting.
I did.
Congratulations, Lawrence.
I did, Alyssa. Hold on. Let me get...
I can see that. That is not surprising. What would you knit? Like gloves? Or
would you like to know what I knitted? I will definitely tell you.
Yeah.
So, my drafting teacher and I took what was called a rag knitting class.
What is that?
To where we went and learned how you took fabric and you stripped it, you cut it up, and you actually tied it together, and we knitted, and we made, they were shells and sweaters. No, they were sweaters that we knitted. Congratulations, Miss Retha. Let me get Miss Retha's name down. And we sold them too, and they were very popular.
Is it a shawl?
No, it was a shell. We did some that were boat-necked shell type ones, and we did some with short sleeves. And then
what do you mean by shell?
So, it's not a vest. So, a vest would be sleeveless.
Oh, I know.
And it would open in the center. Okay. But what I'm calling a shell is like a boat neck all the way across. It was sleeveless, but it was solid here. And you had no, it's not a shawl. It had a front and a back. You pulled it over your head.
Like a shawl?
No.
Okay, well, what's a shawl then?
A shawl is something that's like a wingspan.
It's like a poncho.
No. Ladies, we're going to have to educate Alyssa.
Yeah, I'm going to have to Google it.
So a shawl is something that, if you look at...
Is a shawl like a...
it's open and you just bring it over like this. And I've been wanting to actually crochet one lately.
Okay, you're right.
And then a shawl, a poncho, you pull it over your head. And I actually bought me one. while I was gone on my trip this
Did
past
you
trip.
really?
I haven't showed her. Well, anyways, I'll have to show that to her.
Oh my
Yes. Okay. I got lost there. Where are we at now?
We did our giveaway.
We did our giveaway.
I'm gonna go put Aria down for nap during these next couple of.
And I'm gonna stay and visit and
Yes.
answer questions and
then we'll do
play
another
and
giveaway
have
when
some
I
more
get back.
fun with our tutorials.
And we'll show, which if you got the email, I'm sure you saw it, but we'll show our
We'll show
freebie.
a really fun freebie thing that Alyssa has in store for y'all as well.
Let's go ahead and bring in the next tutorial. Oh, let's see. Is it the fourth one?
Yep.
Okay.
I got it. Okay. So we're gonna go to our next tutorial, and then you and I will visit while Alyssa is getting Aria to sleep. For our last little exercise together, we'll be using the strip of fabric that we cut shorter, half the length or half the width of this longer strip of fabric. And this will really show you how you can use that ruffling foot, constructing two pieces of fabric together as well as gathering the long strip. Now, whenever we place these two strips onto the serger, we'll be placing the longer strip down at the bottom against the feed dogs. And I'll show you that over at the machine. But we want the strip of fabric that needs to be gathered to be placed against the feed dogs. We'll start with placing our longer strip of fabric underneath the presser foot, right side facing up. I'll raise my presser foot. And if you need to, tweak your foot up a little bit. If you have to raise your little guide at the bottom to allow the fabric to be positioned up underneath the needles, you can do that as well. We want to place that fabric up under the needles and also align it with the edge that we spoke about earlier, and then lower the presser foot. We'll take a few stitches. That will allow the serger to hold on to the first piece of fabric before we add our top strip of fabric. So let's take a couple of stitches. Okay, it's holding it for me. I also want to bring the needles up, and next we'll take our shorter strip of fabric, raise our presser foot, and you can see how allowing the needle threads to lock it in holds on to this fabric. If not, it would just slip off your serger and fall on the floor. Now we're going to take our shorter strip of fabric and place it in the guide here, right side facing down. Now when we do this, we want to align the right edge of the fabric right here in this area, up against here. And then you'll notice that this area and this bottom area, those align together. So that's our visual alignment. And slip it up there, allowing that top section, the top edge of the fabric to be positioned under the needles. When you've done that, lower your presser foot, and then you're going to take a couple of stitches. We've locked in those two pieces of fabrics with the needle threads so they're not going to fall away. Now, whenever you're using this presser foot and you're incorporating this into a project, I always like to have more fabric than I need. So I typically am going to have more of the gathered fabric than I actually need. I'm not going to just have a 2-to-1 ratio, but I am showing you this using my 2-to-1 ratio, and we'll see how it comes out. But never am I working through this process using this presser foot expecting to be spot on, having the shorter fabric be exactly the length, once it's gathered, of our ruffled fabric. But let's see what happens. Now, in order for us to serge this through, we need to keep these two separated. You don't want to place your hands here as you're guiding it. What will happen if you do that is these will go underneath the presser foot together. We don't want that. So you'll want to gently keep these two pieces separate and also keep them aligned along the right. I'll warn you, it takes a little bit of practice. So just gently serge, keeping the edges aligned to the right. This is a great time for you to lower your speed on your serger if you have that capability. And my Triumph does have variable speed control, so I like to slow it down for this type of gathering process. It allows me to be more accurate. And you'll notice it's a habit of mine to just kind of rest one of my fingers on the top here and then have this part of my hand under, and that keeps that separation. Let's start serging. And my bottom hand is just allowing the long piece to rest gently in my hand and guide it if I need to, keeping it to the right. Now, as you can see, I definitely have fabric extensions on my ruffle, which is what I like to see. And as we bring it up, we have a very pretty flat piece of fabric serged onto the lower gathered piece of fabric. I'll press it and then walk you over to our cutting station so we can take a look up close. Look how pretty this looks. Oh my goodness, so very beautiful. Now, if we think about this, we stitched using a stitch length of 4. Whenever I use this presser foot to add a strip of fabric like this, I always like to come back and top stitch in this area here. So whenever you're using a longer stitch length, you might want to think about reinforcing with the top stitch in this way as well. I have a little more fabric left over, even though I cut it 2-to-1 and I was using the same fabric just so I knew that the fabric weight was consistent with both of the strips. But again, I like the fact that I did not run out of my gathered fabric. So I tend to even cut this strip a little longer than a 2-to-1 ratio. What do you think? That was really easy. Again, it might take a little practice when you're over at your serger, aligning and keeping those right edges through the serging process. But once you've practiced a time or two, I think you're going to get very comfortable with this process. That ruffling foot definitely has its place in our serging journey. I hope this tutorial was educational for you. I think that it's really useful to see different feet compared and seeing those techniques, those approaches, those applications that you can perform with the different presser feet. Gathering with our standard presser foot, our shearing presser foot, or our ruffling foot. They definitely all have a useful place in our serging processes. Okay, lots of fun with those different feet. Let's just kind of run through some of the questions that y'all have. I'm going to grab my glasses. I have my contacts on, but you know what? My eyes are getting a little bit in need of some extra help. Jackie, I will look and grab that number for you for the 6-foot kit. That's definitely a kit that you can use for your serger that has a combination of all those very favorite feet, your piping, your cording foot, your ruffling foot, and other ones as well. So I think you definitely need that. So Miss Karen, the ratio when you use the ruffling foot, it is said to be a 2-to-1 ratio, but as you could see, I even had a little bit of my fabric left over. We are all a variable within the equation. And then if you're using a little bit heavier fabrics, a little lighter fabrics, sometimes they respond a little bit differently. So I always tend to try to use even just a little extra of my gathering fabric than my flat fabric. Let's see. Miss Chris, when we refer to the free designs, those that are included in our monthly project, so every month the set that comes with your project is in your members library, grouped together with all the project tutorials in that area. But Alyssa's been working hard and extra on some other things, and so whenever you go into your members library, if you go down to the bottom, sometimes you'll see page 1 and page 2. I believe if you go over to page 2 and just kind of scroll down, you'll see a thumbnail that says freebie designs, or embroidery freebies, and that's where you'll find any of the extra things that Alyssa has sent out or said, hey guys, we're giving you a free set. Now, if you are winning a set today, and I know everybody loves it, but this is actually a free set that you're winning from the webinar today. And Alyssa will email those of you that win a Dropbox link, and that's how you are going to get those. Let's see. And Miss Betty, we're going to have to tell Alyssa that a shell is a sleeveless blouse and a shawl is a wrap. That was a definitely a great way to explain that. Yeah, y'all were all helping me there. Do you still have a picture of your knitting project? Oh, how do I say your name? Is it Ingrid or Singrid? That is so pretty. And we've talked on the emails quite a lot. I have to look and see. I don't think I have any of those, but I've been thinking lately that I really want to do those again and maybe do like a YouTube video for my rag knitting little sweaters. They were so popular. There are 2 quilts at our Waterfront Mission store yesterday. Check various churches, Humane Society, and rescale stores. Oh, Miss Sissy, that's a really good idea as well. I did run over to some little stores in Birmingham when I was there as well, but I didn't find anything. But I keep telling Alyssa, we'll just have to make enough quilted fabric for what she wants to do. The ratio for the length, the original fabric to finish the ruffle is definitely 2-to-1 for the ruffling foot. The shearing foot, I would also double it as well. It does really well with that. Okay, I think I've kind of gone through most of our questions. I know y'all want to buy those designs, but that is definitely an Alyssa question. Right now, we're not set up to sell those things, but you never know if Alyssa can make those available in some way. She'll work on that. Because they're so cute. Y'all just love that, right? It's Singrid. Oh, thank you, Miss Singrid. I like that. I can pronounce it better. Any pronunciation is fine. That's so pretty. Okay, now, with this said, for this month's project, again, I keep putting my glasses on crooked. Is my head crooked? Oh. Whenever you are in front of that is hilarious. Whenever you're in front of your camera, it's kind of an illusion. You're kind of flipped horizontally. All right, let's see. Is this rewatchable? Yes, Miss Donna, it is. It is rewatchable. Now, any of the tutorials that we just got through with, those are in your members library, and any of the other little tutorials that I play for y'all that are not in the members library, when I do our webinar, I always place that in the webinar extra area. So that would be good. I'm still reading y'all while I think I'm gonna have to leave my glasses on my table, huh? With the new table with the fabric guide attached, help to guide the bottom fabric so you can concentrate on the top fabric. That's a really great idea. That is definitely I think that would be a good option as well. All right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this month's project. So now with this project, not only we're kind of mixing it up a little bit. And again, if you're making this with me, make sure you go step by step through the tutorials that I've prepared for you to make the project. So there's different kitchen towels and there's different weights, and we're gathering the cotton fabric. And I go over all of that within your project. We wouldn't have enough time to go through all that today, but I am going to share a couple of other tutorials with y'all today that'll kind of get you started. But the way I place this ruffle onto the towel, I'm using the ruffling foot. And this whole process, I started thinking about, how can I make this easier throughout the process? Because you'll notice that whenever I am serging the ruffle together to the kitchen towel, I'm not clipping it. I'm actually using my ruffling foot. And again, I'm going to play a couple of more tutorials for y'all whenever I do that. But this is something that I was thinking about. How can I kind of make this easier in a way? We all know probably how we can gather with a standard 4-thread overlock and pull those threads if we would want to. But within the project this month, I actually started experimenting about what I call pre-gathering and then assembling it with the ruffling foot. And we're going to explore that as well. So I think that you're going to, if you can embrace this little thought process with my Lori aha moment, I think you might enjoy the journey. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to play our next tutorial. But before, let me share a couple of other things with you. So let's look at some of the other towels that I've created. Now this is one of the designs that Alyssa did as a free design. This is in your members freebie embroidery section. And look how pretty this looks. It's so very elegant, a nice little Christmas elegant option. And here I've used some poinsettia fabric to gather. Again, a beautiful gift idea. And my neighbor across the street, right before the day before actually the night before Thanksgiving, she knocked on our door and she brought us the best. It's a praline, but it was kind of like a I'm gonna say maybe a vanilla praline because it wasn't as dark, kind of caramel colored. It was more white colored and it was fabulous. So I've actually made her a little set of kitchen towels. I need to run those over to her, but I was hanging on to them until we finished our tutorial, our webinar today. But I'm gonna bring her a set of towels and I think she's gonna really like that. I thought I probably need to put something in her little dish that she brought over as well. But you know, I can cook, but I love to sew more than I love to cook. Look at this one. So this is another of the little sketch designs that Alyssa prepared for us earlier in the month, or in the first, maybe the 1st of December or the end of November. Look how cute he looks. And he's real quick and easy. He's a little sketch design. I think he's so precious. And this is actually a little shorter towel that I picked up. I can't remember what they were called, like maybe little bar towels, but you may want to have some little towels like this to even, I don't know, could we put this in our bathroom and just kind of lay them? Or we could even do a cotton towel and to make some lay on our little cabinets in our bathroom or somewheres to just be a little more festive. So this is one of those other designs that Alyssa did for y'all as well as a freebie. I hope I'm not saying that incorrectly. Pretty sure it is. Yeah, pretty sure. With a little deer. Yeah, we did I think we did a Facebook Live showing the little deer. What did we put the deer on? Y'all remind me. Miss Mickey, I know you were there. If you remember, let me know. So fun ways to add some extra little fun stuff. All right, so I will go ahead and start our next little tutorial. I'll read through our questions and then I'll come back and talk to you about those when we finish. Let's go to our next tutorial. Let's talk about the next few steps that we're going to take to gather and serge our towel to our ruffle. I'm going to bring to you a Lori approach of the next few steps. Now, of course, there's other ways of doing things, but the fun thing about Serge Fun Club is it gives me that opportunity to share with you some of my approach in techniques, in bringing some of our sewing projects together as well, that other people definitely may do it differently. So I hope you enjoy, maybe also give an opportunity to be a little more open-minded at bringing things together in a different way, other than the standard approach. Now, as you can see, I have my ruffles, I have my towels, and I have 2 presser feet here. Within the testing tutorial that you and I did together earlier in our process, I really brought you through using these different presser feet. We're going to use both of these presser feet in gathering and constructing our towels to our ruffle. Again, it's a Lori approach, so just bear with me. Now, the reason why I will pre-gather using my shearing foot is I really like the way that gathered looks with this presser foot. Now, the second reason is if I use my ruffling foot to gather the ruffle and serge this towel on at the same time, I'm not going to get acceptable ruffles along my gather. And that is because this fabric is a good bit thicker than our standard cotton fabric that we are using as our ruffle. So with that said, I'm taking a different approach in gathering and bringing these two layers together. A little different way of doing something. You may like it. I'll be using these feet, both of these feet, and if you don't have either one of these presser feet, you'll want to gather your ruffle using your standard presser foot. I showed you earlier in an earlier tutorial how you can adjust those gathers to make them tighter as well. And then when you serge your ruffle to your towel, you'll be adjusting and clipping them together before you serge it together with your 4-thread overlock. I like to give you a little bit of an overview within this process since we'll be doing things a little bit differently. So the first thing that we'll do together is I'll set my ruffling presser foot aside. I will use my shearing foot and I'll go place that over on the serger as well as threading the serger for a 4-thread overlock. We'll be gathering with a 4-thread overlock. Now, if you notice, I really have gray tones in my fabric that I've used for my ruffle. Whenever I thread my serger to gather, I always like to make sure that those 2 needle threads blend with that ruffle fabric. Those needle threads will be resting along the edge whenever we serge it all together. And that means it will already be set up having those 2 threads in the needles that blend or match the ruffle fabric itself. Now, most of my towels have a lot of white in them. I've placed white serger thread on my upper looper and lower looper. I feel that that's going to blend better on the towels themselves. I'm matching my needle threads with the ruffle fabric. If yours is a little bit different from your towels to your ruffles, and then I'm blending my upper looper and lower looper standard serger thread with the prominent color in my kitchen towels. Now you'll notice that one of my kitchen towels are a deeper gray. And for this one, I'll change my upper looper and lower looper to that gray color standard serger thread as well. So anytime I want to construct these together, needles blending to the ruffle and loopers blending to the towel, and if they're all pretty close together, you'll have one color on all 4 of those positions. Let's go over our sergers. I'll show you the threads on my serger and our settings and what presser foot I'll have on the serger first. Keep in mind, if you don't have any of these 2 presser feet, you'll be setting up your serger and using your standard presser foot, gathering it, adjusting it, and then you'll place that ruffle onto your towels, right sides together, and clip it all along the edge, having some of those fabrics extend off the edge. Let's go through this process, and that'll really help you understand how to easily bring it all together in the way that I want to share with you. I've placed standard serger thread on all 4 positions, but like I mentioned, my overlock needle 1 and overlock needle 2 position, I've placed a deeper gray, which blends with my ruffle fabric. And then I have white standard serger thread on my upper looper and lower looper, and that blends with my kitchen towel. Stitch selector is set to A. Our differential feed is set all the way up to 2 at that maximum gathering capability. Our stitch length is set to a standard 4. That's the longest that we can stitch for our stitch length. We want it to be as long as it can be. And I've placed the width on 6.0. Now you may be wondering, well, why is she placing it on 6.0? We're going to pre-gather, and in order to pre-gather, I want that stitch width a little bit narrower so that when we start constructing our kitchen towel with our ruffle, we'll take a little bit wider seam allowance, and that'll prevent us from seeing the pre-gathering serge stitch after we construct our ruffle to our kitchen towel. I'll mention that again, but that is why I'm using a little bit of a narrower stitch width. Our blade will be cutting. We'll have overlock needle 1 and 2 installed in our sergers. I'll be removing my standard presser foot and placing my shearing foot onto my machine. Now again, this is a Lori approach. These are the presser feet that I have. I really like the way that shearing foot gathers. I'll be using that for my pre-gathering stitch. If you don't have that presser foot and you have the ruffling foot, you could run your fabric underneath the ruffling foot all by itself instead of using the shearing presser foot. And then if you find you need to work more gathers in, like we did in an earlier tutorial, you could do that as well. Or use your standard presser foot. And if you needed to work more gathers in, like I showed you in an earlier tutorial, you could do that as well. I'll be using the shearing foot. If you are creating more than one, go ahead and assembly line this step to all of your ruffles. I'm making 4, so I will be assembly line pre-gathering to all of my strips. I'll just show you one strip though, but I want to make great use of my time and pre-gather on all of these strips. I'll allow the edge of the fabric along the edge of the plate. That means I'm skimming off about 1/8 of an inch. Just be consistent with all of your towels. Remember, we're the gentle guider. I'm just allowing the fabric to rest softly in my hand. You might see me adjust with my other hand as well, but we really want the machine to be able to take that fabric and not have us pull back or create any resistance on the fabric. We'll let our sergers do their jobs. And you'll want to place your fabric right side facing up as you're gathering. If you will do any additional gathering, make sure you leave a long tail. That way it'll be really easy for you to find those needle threads and gather your ruffle more if you need to. Gorgeous. I'll finish up pre-gathering the rest of my ruffles. You do the same before we go on to our next step. Now I'll cut all of my ruffles apart. I just assembly line gathered them like I said, and most of them are still together. I'll just cut them apart. Now again, you may be wondering, why is Lori pre-gathering? I tried it. I tried to gather using the ruffling foot and sew it onto the bottom of my kitchen towel at the same time. And the difference in the heaviness, weight of the kitchen towel combined with the cotton fabric, I got almost no gathers in my ruffle. You know, that was a deal breaker for me. I still love that presser foot. You know what we can do with it whenever we're gathering flat cotton fabric to a cotton ruffle. But sometimes we want to do projects like this, where we are gathering and applying that gather to a thicker fabric. So this is my approach, and I just wanted to share that with you. I love the way these little gathers look. There's no need for me to gather these anymore. But of course, I know I'm repeating myself, but it may be a question that someone has. If you don't have that shearing foot, you'll want to bring those gathers up a little bit more possibly, if you would like. Now we're going to lay these here for just a moment. I'm going to grab my kitchen towel, my first kitchen towel. We'll be applying that ruffle to that bottom edge where we removed the hem that it came on when we picked it up from the store. All right, so there's the bottom edge of our kitchen towel. Now my approach, it will take away the clipping process. I don't want to have to clip it, and I won't need to. So if you'll notice, my ruffle is wider than the towel itself, and we are going to serge this on with the ruffling foot. Now if you don't have the ruffling foot and you don't have the shearing foot, you'll need to gather it up so that you have about an inch or so, 1.5 inches. Let's see how much I have here. I have about I'm going to say approximately 3 inches extending on each edge. If you need to, adjust your gathers, make sure they look pretty, and then you'll take and center the ruffle over your kitchen towel, and then you will clip it all the way across. Now this is if you don't have the ruffling foot and you don't plan on doing it the way I will show you in just a moment. So you'll just center it, position it, clip it all the way across, and then you will serge it on using your 4-thread overlock and your standard presser foot. But make sure you have about 3 inches extending on each edge. We'll be doing some finishing steps to the outside edges of our ruffles before we're completely finished. Now, like I said, I'll be constructing this using my ruffling foot, so there will be no need for me to clip these together at this point. Okay, it's a little bit of a different approach, but I really have fun with it. And again, it's giving you a different thought process. It's really easy. Keep in mind that step by step, your project tutorials are in your Serge Fun Club library. So you're going to want to start some of these little towels from the first tutorial with me and just migrate through the process. And again, if you're making some for gifts, or even if you want to make some for your house and for home decor further into the year, great way to do that. Look at these. I actually used this little coffee fabric. I told Alyssa I want a design set that has precious little coffee cups. I love tea, but I just love the smell of coffee. Here is a larger one. Now I did find that if we look at this towel, this is one of the towel sets that I bought. This one has a heavy terry on the back side and the front is smooth. This one is actually heavier than these other ones that I picked up. And I think if I have to vote, I really like these style of towels better. Whether you have like a waffle fabric, this one has a little bit of an extra texture. I'll show you a waffle fabric. That's the one that I did the project with itself. But because again, this fabric is a lot heavier, the towel itself, it can kind of smash your ruffles and reduce the ruffles. And that's when I started thinking about, hey, we can pre-gather and then serge it together using the ruffling foot. And we're going to do that in our next tutorial as well. So let me set these aside. But yeah, you can make these with any types of, I love novelty fabrics, but you can use and make these with any types of fabrics that really coordinate with your home decor. Let me grab those other towels real quick right here. So here is the set that I actually used for the project itself. And that's that waffle fabric. And it is a lighter fabric. So you're going to get a different, probably a little bit of a different outcome just because of the weights of the towels. But if you walk along with me through the step-by-step tutorials, we'll work it all out and you'll enjoy it. But oh my goodness, these are so much fun. Let's see. Awesome. Okay, so keep that in mind. And here's one that I created with a really pretty little fabric. These towels actually had a line of that turquoise color that's in this fabric. So you can really make some pretty designer effects also. And if you want to make just like a cotton base, more like a tea towel, place those in your bathroom. I like what earlier, let me find who told me that. It was like a looking towel. You just want to look at it. It just decorates your bathroom. Yeah, Miss Janet said that. Yes, guest bathroom, Miss Celia, absolutely. So I think these are fun little fast and easy ways to get festive. Did you trim the hem off in the bottom of the towel? I did, Miss Donna. And I show you that in the previous tutorial that we're not going to play today, but in that previous tutorial, your step-by-step tutorials, we'll do all of that together within the process. Miss Mary, I'm glad you like these. Yeah, so Miss Glenda, we haven't done a project that actually uses all 8 threads just yet, but you know, that's a thought. We could even actually gather using a cover stitch, combining the overlock stitches, just kind of saying this since Miss Glenda is asking that. Yes, using those 8 threads. When Miss Glenda asked that question, I talked about the visual stitch reference, which really kind of gives you a very step-by-step, in-depth stitching out all those different stitches that we can stitch on the serger, because probably, you know, you haven't stitched all those stitches at this point, but that's a good kind of exercise. Andrea earlier, she posted her picture in the Facebook. She was actually not feeling really well, and she was just in her house, and she had started her visual stitch reference samples, her little my sweet retailer in New Hampshire calls it the pile. And so she's like, I'm going to get even more knowledgeable and comfortable with all these stitches by going through the visual stitch reference class that you have as an extra in your 2024 members library. If you haven't done that, I really highly recommend it. It's going to be very, very helpful for you and get you really comfy. Okay. I'm always thinking about the next project, you know, the next 2 projects, the next 3 projects. So you never know what we're going to get to explore. Look at all these. I've been a busy camper. Definitely very busy. They go together so fast and easy. And I do. I love little Mr. Santa. If you have Christmas parties and you bring little gifts to those as well, that's another great way to do those. I'm looking at my little list. I had so much. Listen, I had a lot of fun at Houston Quilt Market. Let me see. Give me just a second. I hope. I'm gonna go see. Oh, I did. I am going to share to give you just kind of a fun little, I was trying to wait till Alyssa got back in here, but it's probably taken her a little bit longer to get Aria to sleep. We're definitely going to have another giveaway. And then I also have, let's see, a couple of other things, but we're going to play, I'm going to bring you to Quilt Market with me and Alyssa. Let me entertain you for a quick moment here with that. We had so much fun with this. I've been meaning to post this, but I thought let's play it here for our webinar before we post it.
Oh, wow. I think I need one.
I think I want this one.
She likes lavender?
I love lavender.
That's not surprising.
What do you want, Alyssa?
Which one's going to be yours?
I'm getting this one.
Okay, I think that's...
Look at the cover on that phone, too.
Yeah.
Is that your phone?
It's hers, yeah.
Oh, you can look at it. You know people's favorite color.
I think I like this one.
Okay, Alyssa is going to pick out the red one, and I'm getting the lavender
Oh, wait,
one.
should I get that one?
Oh.
Oh, this is so pretty. I think I'm going to do this one, Mom.
Okay.
I know. I'll take one of each. Wait, but this one's pretty. Okay. Ooh.
Hi everyone. Okay, as you can see, we are at Quilt Market in Houston, Texas. Look who's back there. Mike Johns. Do you know Mike? Mike is over here at the Baby Lock booth, definitely demonstrating. We talked with Mike earlier, told him hello, and Alyssa and I, look at Aria. She is asleep. So Alyssa and I are gonna run through. We're gonna grab some footage for you and have a little bit of fun at Houston Quilt Market this year. Oh, we see Ashley and Denise. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. You never know who we're going to see here.
Because they're put into the bike. So yeah, we've had.
But I'm learning a lot.
Look at all of this gorgeous fabric. This is actually a booth that I've seen often at other shows as well. And it's definitely a winner in my book. Look at all the Kate Fawcett fabrics. They are fabulous.
Very nice.
That's like so cute.
Look at the chickens.
All right, take a picture of this.
So pretty.
Take pictures with him.
Y'all know I love the pumpkins. Oh my gosh, these are so cute. Look at these whales. Oh my gosh. That's adorable. Ah! It's beautiful.
I've done nothing since. I've done nothing since. I finally
So pretty. I would like this one and this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I'll just take all.
We have seen so many wonderful things. Look at the swan and the patterns and books. Say hello. She is the designer. Aren't these absolutely fabulous? She is definitely a great designer, and I'm very excited. I'm going to get the opportunity to create with these as well. We were in the market earlier this morning, so we had lots of fun walking through the Wonderful booth, all of the fabulous threads, and of course, I've got a bag of threads that I picked up that I had to share with y'all some of the wonderful things that are in the Wonderful booth. I picked up some of the fusible thread. So you know I like to use the fusible thread when binding on the serger. It's an extra little help, a little technique. And now they have it in the larger spools that's going to fit on our sergers nicely. Okay, look at these threads. Now I didn't realize that Wonderful carries the 8 weight, the 5 weight, and the 3 weight. Now we definitely know about the spaghetti, the razzle. I grabbed some of these. I'm going to bring these home with me, and I will definitely be demonstrating using these on the serger as well. These are gorgeous. Look at all the variegated colors. They have them in solids. Yep. Wonderful, wonderful threads.
Hi, everybody.
Okay, Alyssa, are you enjoying the quilt market or International Quilt Festival?
Aria is asleep. We can look around without her wanting to get down, grab everything, and take a look.
Run down the red carpet, right? We're having some fun. Yep. Okay, Alyssa's first quilt market. She has been behind the camera. Okay, do you have a favorite thing so far, Alyssa?
My favorite booth?
I don't know. Your one favorite booth thing? Something? I really love our rippers that we picked out.
Okay, I like those. The quilted. I love fabric.
Yes, we
I have
do.
so much fabric. I don't need any more.
Yes, you
When I
do.
see it, when I see fabric, my mind says that I do, that I need a lot more. With the quilted chicken, oh my gosh, their fabric was so cute.
The collage quilter.
I love the aesthetic of all 3 of those. That is just my aesthetic. So pretty.
Okay, we have her hooked. Let's go see what else we can find.
Let's do it.
Wow. Walking through. Am I a quilter now? Maybe. Oh, y'all, look at this.
Oh, that's fun.
A needle punch. You know, that was so popular a long time ago.
We want to make sure we got.
We want to. Listen, you want to try it?
Yeah, I've got the card. I got it yesterday.
If we can't, they'll tell us not to do it.
We were from
the
the bottom.
camera.
Make sure it was the right card.
Just punch it in and punch it out.
Okay, wow.
Isn't that cool?
Want to do is you want to start so that it's turned up just a little bit and it's pretty close, and then you're just going to go in and out, in and out, in and out, just like this. You can't go too slow or it pulls back out again.
Okay,
yeah.
Alyssa, see if you can do it.
On the outside. Yeah, on the outside. Let's put this right in. Oh no, all the way. There you go. Oh, going too slow. Yeah.
Okay, guys, here's the special exhibit where we can see all of those wonderful quilts that people like yourself have created. So if you ever have the opportunity to come to the Quilt Festival in Houston, don't miss it. You're gonna have lots of fun, lots of quilts to see, lots of creativity. You will absolutely love it. Okay, I think it's time we better hit the road. We are leaving. We're leaving. Okay, guys, I hope y'all had a little bit of fun. It was a quick trip, but we had lots of fun.
Aria had fun. She is still sleeping. Hope everybody enjoyed.
Okay.
Everyone, I'm back.
She's back.
I'm back.
The quilter. She's a quilter now.
I would love to be a quilter.
You're a quilter.
I've
Once
never
you-
quilted. Well, actually, I have quilted, but not like a quilt.
Well,
But I will.
You
I
will.
have plans.
you will. Lindsay's actually quilted.
Right now?
Lindsay, a good while ago, she had a friend that was having a baby, and she said, Miss Lori, Lindsay's my daughter-in-law, and
That girl just does everything.
she does everything, and she wanted to quilt her a baby gift, a baby quilt, and so I set her up on the Solaris, and let me tell you, I got her started. I showed her how to do it, and then she quilted it. So
That's
she's a quilter.
hilarious.
You can be a quilter too. Oh my goodness, so many comments. Towels, keep in mind our gathered towels, step-by-step tutorials in your members library. So you're going to want to follow along from the beginning to the end with me, and you'll have those done before you know it. And yes, there is a rolled edge on the end of those ruffles. I think before we go any further, Alyssa, let's talk about these.
Okay.
Can I open one? Let's see. It's after,
Well, you can.
it's 1 o'clock.
don't
I did
know.
have breakfast. Talk about it.
Okay, so what about the tree?
About your...
Okay, so if you got your email, I think we sent it out. When did we send that email out?
You
Beginning of last week, I believe.
I don't remember. Liz does things that I don't even know she's
Yes.
done. So I kind of get wowed as
So,
well.
I got it in my head. I don't know when, but I really, really, really wanted to give you all an alphabet. And I said, okay, I want to do a Christmas alphabet, but what kind of Christmas alphabet can I do? And these just...
Look how stinking cute.
Yes.
Don't they remind you of the little Christmas trees?
They were inspired by the Christmas cake trees.
Yo.
And so these will be available to you tomorrow afternoon. This isn't the whole alphabet, obviously, but I have to restitch some of the letters because I tweaked a couple of things, changed the thread direction on a couple of letters, and I just need to make sure that they stitch out correctly. I got to finish with the conversions, and then we'll have this for you to use.
However you would
How you
like.
want. So this is going to go for our Serge Fun Club 2024 members in your Serge Fun Club library under the freebie embroidery designs. They're
Yes.
so cute.
They're so cute.
It makes me hungry.
Ah, well look, I got a cake for you.
These are our sugary spruces. That our sugary spruce alphabet. That is
that
the name.
sugary spruce alphabet?
Let's see, I think we
I
can
love
bring
it.
up,
We had so
okay.
much fun at Quilt Market. Let's bring in up the little thumbnail.
Yes.
We did. We had so much fun, so much inspiration. Look how precious.
Adorable.
We're gonna have fun with that.
Yes. So these are
A no calorie.
no calorie Christmas tree cake, our sugary spruce alphabet, but I'm trying to think of the size. It is a 3.5 is what I did.
Yeah, I like the size of them. I do.
Yes, 3.5 is what I did. I was measuring just to make sure. I have so many designs that I'm doing right now that I'm trying to think, because the nutcrackers are 4.5. These are 3.5. That's why I was trying to figure out which one was which.
Okay.
I wanted them like
Cute,
I wanted
cute,
them
cute.
bigger in the sense of not necessarily like a monogram,
Uh-huh.
but that idea where your initial is like on the right or left
Oh,
portion
wow,
of your
okay.
chest.
Okay. I'm
That's
thinking
what I was
Mary
thinking.
Bright. I don't know.
Well,
I
you
just
could.
think those
Yeah,
are
you could
so
definitely.
cute.
But I really wanted them to where you can see it. I didn't want a tiny.
You know, that would be
little-
a really fun alphabet quilt for Aria.
alphabet.
Yeah, you got the alphabet. She loves to say her ABCs. This would be
She
also
really does.
a fun little alphabet quilt or
Yes.
some type of interactive fun for a little one. So many things.
What are you
We all
looking at?
think differently, huh?
I can see it in your eye where
I
you're
just
looking at.
I'm just loving the letters, and
She likes to say, "Oh, look at that."
because you know
You need to
what?
fix that. I'm like, I know
Oh
it.
no, I did not. They look perfect.
Oh, I thought you were
You can
noticing.
even do this in
Well, I changed the
primary
direction on
colors.
these 4 of certain threads. I thought that's what you were
No,
gonna point out.
they look perfect to me, Alyssa.
I love. They're so cute.
You can
and
even
are
do these in
fun.
primary colors
You
if you
can.
wanted to do like an alphabet quilt for a child, something interactive. Okay, love it. So cute.
These are going to be available for you tomorrow afternoon. I have to restitch out the rest of the library, the alphabet, as well as these 4 letters, because like I said, I changed direction on some of the design. And just make sure that they go well, finish the conversions, and I'll have that ready for you tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah,
Let's see
absolutely.
how we find those
Let's
freebie designs.
see.
I can't seem to. So in your 2024 Serge Fun Club members library, so you log in, there's a little profile icon top right. You click on that and then you click My Library. So you scroll all the way down. If you have more than one product, you're going to choose 2024, right? So there's 2024, 23, 22, 21. So you're going to choose 2024. In there, at the top of the page is going to be your monthly designs. But if you keep scrolling down, you kind of go to where you have more folders. You'll see, I believe, look, let me go through here. I'm going to go on here. Because the name of the folder is Freebie Embroidery Designs, but I want to make sure that I don't have it in digital freebies. So let me just make sure that we're going to sign in right here. And I'm just going to pull it up real quick. We're logged in. Oh, here. I'm going to fill your password.
There you go.
My Library. Scroll down to 2024. Scroll down to
Page 2.
Page 2. Which you might not have to go to page 2. I think that it populates, yes. So it's going to be under, so you're going to go to your 2024 members library, right? So what I'll do is I'll do this. I'm going to go, so you've logged in, and then you're going to click the 3 little lines, and it's going to say My Library. That's what you're going to click on. And then you scroll down, you're going to click on 2024, brings you there. You're going to scroll down to page 2. And then it says right here, Freebie Embroidery Files.
Yes.
Right here. So you click on there.
2.
And these are all the...
Oh, go back.
Oh, I clicked on it. Goodness gracious.
There's
These
a lot
are
of fun
all
things
the
in there.
freebies that we've had so far for the year. And they're going to populate in here. And there's 2 pages.
And there's 2 pages, yeah.
And they're going to populate in here. So if you can't see it on the first...
Here's a little... So there's the little wreath that we used, and the one above it has there's the little deer. I want you to show them that one.
Oh.
So I used that Santa on one of the little towels that I showed you earlier.
Yes. So there's 2 pages if you go through here, and then also the Oh Christmas Tree. That's where our little
freebies are.
Christmas tree is. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're just in your 2024 members library. You scroll all the way down to the Freebie Embroidery Files. Let's see. We don't have our design sets to purchase as of yet. But we have a lot of fun things launching for 2025. So
It has definitely taken a lot of work on Alyssa's behalf.
yes.
Together, we are really enjoying creating and making things available and fun and educational for y'all. So
Yes.
she's working very hard as quick as she can.
Yes.
So I'm glad that y'all are enjoying everything. And yeah, whenever we do things like that, they need to have a place to live to be able to make those available to you. So that's why you're going to find those in your Serge Fun Club library.
And it
And
differs
as a
for
member-
each year.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously for
It's a
our
journey.
2024 current, anything that we do free we make it available for our current year.
That's right.
And so moving forward, starting in April, when we start doing all of our freebies, that's going to go in our 2025
year.
year.
That's right.
Freebie designs.
So again, you
Yes.
still have access to every previous year that you've purchased. And if you want to purchase a previous year, if you haven't, those are purchasable on the website as well. It's very, very affordable and easy, and we put a lot into it for you. Okay, so
Do we need to do
members photo and a giveaway.
Okay, let's do giveaway and then we'll do the members photo. Well, we can let's go ahead and show Miss, because it's Miss Andrea's little wreath.
Yes.
That's our last one for our little photo.
Look at Miss
It came out
Andrea's.
so cute.
Look how sweet. She did a precious little towel that you can look at or use. I think that's what's fun too, is if you actually make two and you add an embroidery on one and not on the other one, if you just can't bring yourself to wipe your hands on one that has embroidery.
Mom cannot bring her. So what happens is all the fun stuff that we make, right? So for instance, the sweater. We made it and I put it on and I'm like, oh yeah,
But I was going to make that for Mimi.
She said, oh no, that's a sample. I said, oh. Everything that we make is so
But Alyssa,
cute
what did I
and we
tell
want to
you after
decorate
that?
with it. But then she says, no, that's a sample.
What did I tell you?
Can't use
After that?
I'm like, okay, so in our house, in this house, you actually have to make 4. Sample here, sample there, one to use, and then one to look at.
And one to give.
So 5.
Okay, there you go.
Because you got a sample, you got a backup sample, one to use, one to look at, and one to give.
I'm a mass producer, okay? And now that I'm actually getting out on the road a little more this year, let me just kind of say this. So I have a sample suitcase.
Which she does. She has her samples and she keeps them all nice and tidy and clean.
And packed.
And packed, ready to go.
Because-
That way she doesn't have to repack that suitcase when she goes. So I get it.
Yeah.
I love that she has the samples to bring to be able to show everyone who is not
Yes.
a member of Serge Fun Club, just to give you just a little look of, you know, some of the past things and all the fun things that we have. So I
do.
get it. But I'm like, man.
She really likes that.
I like the color of the sweatshirt.
And she said she had a party, and I afterwards I said, "Listen, you can wear it. Go
we
ahead."
ended up not going to the party anyway.
Oh, okay, I didn't know if y'all missed it or not. A Christmas party.
Well, it started at 6:30. You weren't here. Aria's bedtime's at 7:30.
Nana wasn't here to babysit.
So we didn't have a babysitter. So I'm like, I am just not gonna go. That's not gonna be fun. Aria's gonna be ready to roll after an hour, so that's okay.
Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are we at, Lisa?
Oh, our giveaway. Let's go ahead and do our last giveaway. And remember, if you are signed up for today's webinar, if you're here, if you got your access link emailed to you, even if you didn't, there was a couple people, sometimes it goes to your spam folder and you might not realize that. So I have emailed the link out, but you were already registered. If you weren't registered, I would have let you know. But if you're registered for the webinar, you're registered for the giveaway. So you're good to go there. Let's go ahead and see who are first. I'm going to have to see. Our little noise, it's not there. It hasn't been for the past couple of times.
It's like Wheel of Fortune. You hear the clickety click.
Exactly. Just imagine that, guys.
Miss Paula.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Miss Paula.
Yes.
So once we finish by tomorrow, maybe, I don't know what your time frame is, you will take care of whoever's winning.
Oh,
getting
yes.
the set.
Yes. You'll have your March of the Nutcracker by tomorrow morning, and I email that out to you via the email address that you signed up with for the webinar. I'm assuming it's probably the same email address that you have your Serge Fun Club membership underneath.
Yes.
Sometimes people register with a different email. That's okay. Whatever email address that you've signed up for the webinar is the email address that I send it out to. Now it is coming to you via Dropbox link because the designs, the files, I send the embroidery design file.
Congratulations, Miss Brenda and Miss Connie.
I'm so sorry, I'm talking congratulations.
That's okay.
Miss Brenda, Miss Connie, Miss Paula. I send them out via Dropbox link via email because the embroidery design set is so big that it actually won't let us email it out directly, unfortunately. But you don't have to have a Dropbox account, so you just have to click the link. If you have a Dropbox account, it's probably going to prompt you to sign in. You really don't have to. You just click it. It's going to prompt you to open it. But
and then download it, right?
yes, unfortunately that is the only way that I can email it out right now. But
that's not hard.
I think it's been working for most. I haven't really had any negative feedback on using.
Claire.
Congratulations, Miss Claire.
Congratulations.
Yes. But yes, you'll have that by tomorrow morning. I have a busy rest of the day. Finishing up our alphabet, getting our nutcrackers out, taking care of Aria. Oh my gosh, Aria is just so funny.
She's hilarious.
She really is.
Congratulations, Miss
Miss
Rebecca.
We're not going to be doing a stitch and sip tonight because I have a very busy rest of the day, and there's just no way that I will be able to get away and have everything ready by tomorrow.
It's the holiday season.
It is. It's holiday season. So not one
this
for
week.
Tonight for this week, but wait. What is next week? I was going to say.
We'll
Is
see.
next week Christmas?
Is it?
Yes. So we're not going to have one next week. Okay, look. Congratulations,
Sally.
Miss Sally. We're not going to have one next week either because it's Christmas Eve and we're going to be doing family things. Wait a second. I'm looking at June.
We're in 17. Oh, you were looking
What
at
on
June.
earth?
But it is Christmas next week.
Okay, so this is the 23rd. So we might be able to do one next week. We'll let you know. We'll update you. Yeah, it's a Tuesday. We'll
see.
update you all on Monday.
Okay.
Because we do have plans with my husband's family. And I'm not sure if it's on the 23rd or not. But we'll definitely let you all know.
Busy.
Yes, it's, I'm sure everyone's holiday season is just so busy now.
Miss Velma.
Congratulations, Miss
Congratulations, Miss Velma.
But I do have, besides the alphabet, I do have one more Christmas surprise coming that I'm hoping to have out. What day are we on? Your calendar is messing me up.
Today is the 17th. No, today is this.
Mom, this is December 2025. What on earth is happening? Okay.
Okay, now we're in the right year.
Oh my gosh.
Look, it is the 17th.
Okay, so next week, the 24th,
is
the
Eve.
Tuesday.
It is Christmas Eve on the Tuesday.
We will not have, oh my gosh, a Stitch and Sip Tuesday of next week because it is
Christmas
Eve. I am turned around right now. She had us clicked into June. And then we were clicked into December 2025.
Because I was putting things in the future year.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I have to plan a year ahead for
I don't
things.
know what just happened. Okay, so we're not going to have one tonight. We're not going to have one next week. But I do have one more Christmas surprise for you all that I'm going to try to have available by Friday.
Okay, I don't even know what that is. That's going to be really fun.
If I don't have it by Friday, you'll have it by Monday the 23rd because I want you to have it before the 25th.
Yes. So if you're late here today, it's okay.
Yes.
We're glad you made it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Miss D said that she was running late. Just to let y'all know that when we finish, we always take this recording and we place it in your Serge Fun Club library for the recorded webinar. So you'll be able to watch all of them. Look, thank you, Miss Mary. She is congratulating everyone.
Yes.
It's so much fun. All right, but I have a couple of little things left for y'all. We're going to play our next tutorial. Keep in mind, any of the tutorials for the project from start to finish, those will be in your members library for the project. But let's go ahead and let me share the next tutorial, and then I have a very small little thing that we'll end with. Hopefully y'all enjoyed Houston. So much inspiration.
I had so much fun.
It was fun. It was quick. It was fun. We were so glad Aria went to sleep because she really did.
Oh my gosh.
She wanted
to
down
touch everything. And you're not supposed to.
She wanted to
run around, and she was not happy when we put her back.
She does not
in
like
her
to not
stroller.
get to do what she does want to
wanted
do.
to touch
She
it
wants to
all.
touch and feel, and I think
And
she's
everything
gonna
was so colorful.
She loved it.
And they had a lot of stuff had print, like animal that was
goodness.
quilted on it. So she just really thought that everything was for her. She said, "This is actually for me. This was made for me, right?"
Of course, right?
So.
I have some jelly rolls over on my shelf, and this morning she came in and she sat down and she looked at it, and she looked at me, and she looked at it, and she looked at me, and she said, "No."
Did she say?
She said, "No." And then she looked back, and then she picked it up, and she looked at me, and I just smiled at her, and she says, "Yes."
Yeah, it's like she knows it's a no, so she'll correct herself. Like last night she was sitting underneath my desk, like the desk itself, but when she tries to stand up, she's now too tall, so she hits her head. So I'll tell her no, because she's gonna hit her head. And she sat down. She said, "No." I said, no, come here. And she said, no, 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 no. I'm like, yes, come get out of there before you stand up and hit your head and then you're going to be hurt.
She's hilarious.
She really
We
is.
need to do a video of Aria just like,
You know what we need to post? Her Christmas picture.
oh, you should.
I'm
wonder-
going to find it and I'm going to, wait, I'm going to
Maybe
find
you could bring it up on the text
I can.
and you can share your screen there.
I think that everyone is going to laugh. So, look, I can do it real quick. Just real quick. Hold on.
If not, we can show our next little video and then come back to it.
Wait, because this is
It is hilarious.
hilarious. So this is not just
She's
the
my little-
only.
She's my little sassy pants. She's so funny. But you know what? Stranger danger. She does
Stranger
not.
danger.
You text that picture to me as well. So if
Did
you-
I?
You
I
did.
texted it just to you though.
Just to me. You
Okay.
did.
But is it
pretty
the one that we bought? Because I know there's one that has like a
It's the first one.
mark on it.
Unless it is in the group. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, play your.
Okay,
the
we're gonna play our
one,
next
and then I'm gonna
tutorial
find
and
it we'll show it
you'll get a
afterwards.
good
I
laugh. If you
promise
need a
y'all are
laugh
gonna
today, you're gonna love this.
Oh my gosh.
She is her own little person.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a friend of mine who we did the pictures through, she said, I laughed so hard when I was editing her pictures. I said,
All right.
I'm sure.
Before we go over to our sergers to make the adjustments on a few of our settings, I wanted to talk about this. This is important. Some of your towels may be this wide. This is another one that I created. It's a little narrower than the one we're working on together. See how this one's narrower? So it really depends on the towel that you pick up as well. That will determine how much of the ruffle we'll have left over. Whenever I added this ruffle, I left my differential feed on number 2, on the fullest gathering option. Now, if I do that for this towel, I will run out of my ruffle. How do I know that? Because I did it. Anytime I'm designing projects, I always experiment, create my prototypes. That way I can share with you the best way to do these things. You may need to test. Let me tell you how wide this one is. This towel is about 15 inches. Whenever I left my differential feed on that 2 setting, I still had plenty of ruffle to turn over and finish up the edges. And that might not be the case for you, so I really want you to test this as well. So you might need to test one time on the kitchen towel and your ruffle to determine what is the best setting for your differential feed. If you do not want to have your differential feed set to gathering at all, and you've already pre-gathered like we've done here, but I'm using that ruffling foot for constructing my towel to my ruffle. One of the main things that I wanted to do within this project, because it's a little bit of a different approach. So with that said, I know that on this towel, I was fine to keep the differential feed at the maximum gathering setting, but I know that for this towel, I can't do that. Whenever we go over our sergers and adjust our settings, you'll see that I'll bring my differential feed down on my machine to about 1.5. This could be different for you, so I don't want you to necessarily lock yourself into what I tell you for your differential feed. So it might be necessary for you to test on one of your kitchen towels with your ruffle to determine what your differential feed setting could still be with the process that we're taking together. Let's go over to our sergers, change our settings, and serge our ruffle onto our kitchen towel. I'll remove my shearing foot and place my ruffling foot onto my machine. Using our presser feet and additional presser feet that we might have in different ways is a win-win. I hope you're enjoying this process. I've decided to set my differential feed to 1.5 on my serger. So here I am at 1.5. Again, I determined that because I pre-tested whenever I serged a ruffle and a kitchen towel together, the kitchen towel that I'm using for this set that I'm making. And I determined if I would have left it up at 2.0, I would have ran out of ruffle. I wouldn't have enough ruffle width to cover the bottom of my kitchen towel and also have enough to hem on the sides. Again, this is something that you may need to test depending on the kitchen towel width that you're using for your kitchen towels. Now you might even wonder, well, Lori, why are we gathering? We already pre-gathered. I think within my mind, it doesn't hurt for us to even possibly have that differential feed gathering a little bit to maybe work a few more gathers into the process. We're using that ruffling foot. It has that capability of creating gathers to some extent, just not as much as we really wanted them to be without using that pre-gathering technique. But I decided to still leave my differential feed to 1.5. If you decide you are just going to pre-ruffle that ruffle and you're good with that and you've positioned it and clipped it, then you're going to have your differential feed set at your neutral normal setting. Now I'm going to give another little comment here because you might think about this. Even though we set our differential feed just a moment ago, if we wanted to start sewing our stitches into the edge of our fabric with our differential feed at normal, that would be fine. Just to get it underneath the presser fit, locked in, create a few stitches to hold it in place and not have it gather anymore at that point. So that's definitely something that we could do. But my mind would say, I think I want to do that. I don't really need it to gather when I first get started on the ruffle. So I would just place it on normal, serge those few stitches to hold it in place, get the towel in there, serge a few stitches to get that in place. And once I have them both in place, then I can place that differential feed to that setting that you and I just spoke about. These are just extra little thoughts that come through my mind. And as we're serging and we're doing more things, in this tutorial, I'm trying to take you from more of a simplistic gathering feature and bring in some additional thoughts and ideas and incorporate within our process for this month's project. Before we place our ruffle up underneath our presser foot, we're going to make another change. We're going to adjust our stitch length to about 2 3/4. So almost to 3, just a little shy of 3. That'll give us a shorter stitch length and then a more secure construction stitch as well. Now before I start, like I mentioned a while ago, I will bring my differential feed down to that neutral normal position. I don't have that in the tutorial, in the video, but that's what I just did. I brought it over to neutral just to get us started. Then we'll take our ruffle. Let's raise that presser foot. If you haven't already raised yours, mine is raised. And then I'll slide it up to the needles. I want to align the edge of the ruffle along the left edge of the blade and along the inside edge in this area right here of my presser foot. That'll be my visual guide as we continue to serge. So I'll just take a minute or two to align that well, lower my presser foot. I want to serge a few stitches and that'll get it started. Now, I need a little extra space here, a little extra width to finish our edges once we've attached our ruffle onto our towel. I will serge a little bit more. We're going to serge about no less than 1 inch. Now I have about 1 inch from the needles. I actually probably have about 1 1/4 inches from the needles to the edge of the fabric. And that makes me happy. That'll give us enough to finish those side edges during our construction process. Now we'll take our towel and we'll place our towel right side facing down. We're going to place it in the slot on the top of the ruffling foot. I'll raise my presser foot. I'll raise my needles as well just so we can see it a little better. We'll slip it in here. Once again, we're going to keep the edge of the towel along the left edge of the blade, just the same way we are doing for the ruffle. And I really want to try to keep these two edges of the fabric in this area the whole time. That way it's less likely for our previous pre-stitching gather stitch to show once we've constructed. This is going to really give us some exercise using our ruffling foot, maybe in a way that you haven't used it before. Now I'll continue keeping those edges where I showed you just a minute ago and take a few stitches starting our towel. Got my towel started. I'm going to reposition my differential feed back to 1.5 since that is what works for me. And now we'll continue constructing our ruffle and our kitchen towel together all the way down the width. You'll notice that I'll stop and I'll peek and make sure that I have these positioned correctly, keeping these two layers separate throughout the process. That way they can serge together accurately. Now, if you want to at this point, since we've already serged off of the towel, we can take our differential feed once again and place it to the neutral normal setting. I just did that. And then continue to serge off the ruffle. I'm always trying to think about new ways to incorporate our feet and our accessories and those features on our sergers throughout our projects. And this, I think, does add a different little angle and approach to making a standard kitchen towel embellished with a ruffle. And as you do these over and over again, it's going to feel very, very purposeful. And you'll like the approach. So we pre-gathered with a narrow stitch width. Then we determined the width of our kitchen towel. You might have tested just to make sure whenever you construct it, whether you need to have no differential feed on your serger, or if you could still have a little bit, or maybe even that maximum setting. And then we used our ruffling foot to construct our ruffle and our kitchen towel together at the same time. As you can see, with that wider stitch width for construction, I don't see any of those previously pre-gathered serger stitches on there. Again, it takes practice using the ruffling foot, and I think this project is a great time to practice, get comfortable with that presser foot, and then as we go forward and do additional projects using that foot and that method, you're going to be much more comfortable. Now that we've placed our ruffle onto our kitchen towel, you'll notice that on each end we definitely have an extension of our ruffle, a little more on one side than the other, but again we need at least a minimum of an inch. That'll do really well. Now that I've added the ruffle, I'll press it and set the seam, then I'll bring my ruffle down and press it in this way. I don't want to force this seam in the opposite direction since it's thicker. I want it to lay comfortably in the direction that it naturally is laying. Time to press. Okay, pretty good process there. I want to show you one more little thing and then we're going to finish up sharing with you Aria's little Christmas pictures.
Oh my gosh, I think I picked out like 6 or 7 to show y'all. Hilarious. Like
You're going to get a good laugh out of it. Okay, let me show you this last little thing.
Yeah, this one is a little quick little video, so. Is it right there? Number 8?
Yes. Thank you. Now, I know that when you are constructing using the ruffling foot, there's always that chance that you haven't caught both of those layers together accurately. Maybe you've dawdled a little bit. And since we did a pre-gathering step, we need to make sure that we have serged in a way that we're not showing those stitches that we serged in our pre-gathering stitch. Now, if by chance that happens to you and you didn't cover those stitches, let me show you what I recommend that you do. Let's look at this one. This is one that I've been working on. And if I bring the ruffle back, you'll notice that in this area here, you can see some of my stitches. It's right in this area. Now, in order for me to serge this a little bit deeper, just to make sure that's accurate all the way across, here is a little trick. We'll clear our stitch fingers and then bring the ruffle in. Here's the part of the ruffle that's extended. It doesn't have any of the towel attached to it. And you'll notice that I have the ruffle facing up and the towel is against the feed dogs. I'll position it over here so that the edge is aligned with the plate edge and just lower the presser foot. This will align it so that we're serging off some of our existing fabric and the base of the towel. And if we're serging a little bit off, that means once we've finished, we've actually taken a deeper stitch. And that'll hide any of those seam allowances from our prior serging that was showing before. And you'll notice that I've placed the standard presser foot on. My differential feet is set to the neutral normal position. All we're doing is some construction that, again, is helping us fix something that we might have gotten wrong previously. And again, notice how we're serging a little bit of that stitch off. Now, if I look back at that area that the stitch was showing before, we shouldn't see any of those stitches. Just in case you need a little tip, a little trick to fix a problem, this is a great way to do it. No more of those previous stitches showing now on our ruffle. Okay, we are set for success. Watch all of those tutorials within your members library if you want to create some of those along with me. Let's leave them with a laugh, Alyssa. Give you a little laugh.
Okay, so I'm going to show the first one. This is probably my most favorite one. Oh, darn, I can't see. I think it's this one. This girl is hilarious. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, ready? Oh, wait, I got to pull it up right here.
Slide it in there.
Yes. Wait, I put it over here. Wait, it is this one.
Stranger danger. She says, Santa, I do not know you, and I'm not taking that cookie from you. Is that hilarious or what?
Look at those cheeks.
Oh my goodness. She does eventually warm up.
She does. Okay, let's see if I can.
Let's show them a few other
This
little...
one too, she was like, I don't know.
I don't know you, mister.
Santa, I'm not sure. Hilarious. Okay, wait, here's one that she finally
warmed up, right?
Oh, never mind.
No, she's still saying, what am I doing here?
There's no cookies in this bowl. Y'all lied to me. Hilarious.
Oh, now she looks a little happier.
Let's see.
It's hilarious. She really... to be truthful, Alyssa and I were on the other side.
There the girl.
We were dancing and we were
Yes.
shaking jingle bells. We were singing songs, doing any and everything we could to get her to
So
smile.
what she has in her hand right now is actually the prop that the photographer uses to get the kids' attention. And she kept looking at it when Kaylee was taking the pictures like she wanted it. So Kaylee gave it to her, and then that's when she was like, okay.
I like this.
Oh my gosh, wait, I think this is one. Her and Santa were posing together in this next one.
Oh, she's happy now. He is really a good Santa Claus,
Yeah.
right?
That's his actual beard and mustache.
It
and
is
hair.
like, oh my goodness. And y'all's comments before, I think she's gonna like sewing and fabric.
I think she will.
loves it.
Oh, where's the one with her
With-
and I?
there
is
you
what I was
go.
trying to bring back up. Yeah, she likes color. She loves color. She
Yay.
loves anything she's not supposed to have. She loves that.
She is very mechanically minded.
She really is. She's very smart, and she just, oh my gosh, she
Yes.
when she warms up, and there's like 50 pictures, and I just picked just a handful of my favorite ones out of there for right now, but there's so many that came out so good. But I thought, y'all,
I'm trying to read everybody's comments, but it goes so
this
fast.
one, I'm gonna bring it back up, is my favorite, and I'm gonna frame it. I'm actually gonna probably blow it up maybe and put it on a canvas. Oh my gosh,
It
it's
is
hilarious.
so sweet. It's so cute.
Kaylee was like, I think that I laughed at hers the most when I was editing her pictures. I'm like, yeah, I can see that, because there's a lot of these with those cheeks. Oh my gosh, like just so funny. She's very standoffish though. Like if she doesn't know you,
Yeah,
she's
she
gonna be
doesn't
like,
want to have any. When we go to the grocery store and she's in the
she
buggy,
has that face.
and
there-
somebody
people are,
walks
like,
up and
pointing
says,
and
"Oh,
laughing
she's
at
so
her.
cute," she goes, "Get
But
away
I
from
can't see that. I can't, because she's in her stroller and she's facing
And
forward.
they'll go,
And
"Oh."
Yeah, and at one time, before I realized that she would make that
She
face,
is going, Miss Joyce, you're right. She's
people were
going to be
pointing and
a
laughing,
strong
and I'm
leader.
like, what are they laughing at? Like, I thought that she grabbed something maybe that I didn't know, and she was just, and I'm
So
like,
good.
Aria, why are you doing that?
Oh, well, you know what, guys? I hope y'all had fun today. We'll place the recording in your members library. It may take tomorrow before it actually gets up because we have to process it since it is so long. Kind of went a little longer today. It might have to be uploaded in 2 parts. I don't
It
know,
might.
but it'll be there. Merry Christmas. I hope y'all have
Merry
so much
Christmas.
fun during y'all's holidays. We just love y'all so much. Y'all are so special to us, and we do hope that y'all enjoy your holidays
Yes,
and all the
yes.
extra things that's been Alyssa's been preparing for y'all. So from our families to y'all's friends and friends, have a great time.
Merry Christmas.
Eat some food.
I need to stop
Drink some
eating.
hot
I've eaten so
chocolates.
much food since Thanksgiving. I just feel like bleh out of all the food.
It is time for. I love to cozy up with a little
I'll drink tea, but I need to stop
beverage
eating food.
and have the Christmas tree on. We have fun. Okay, love y'all.
Eggnog.
Eggnog. That's right.
Bye, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.